I was actually thinking about you there for a little bit because there were so many freaking squirrels bugging me. And because when whenever it's deer hunting and you hear a squirrel going like crunch, 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 jumping in the leaves, of course your brain tells you it's a deer. Like every time you hear it, and then finally you like turn around and kind of peek around the tree, and it's a little squirrel running around.
Yeah, my uncle tells me when he's in the tree stand that squirrels come down and jump on his stand with him,
Uh,
barking. Got to get him out of the tree, I guess.
well, yeah, there were so many, and it's like I was thinking about it. It's like it is still small game season, even though it's like firearm deer season, right? Like they don't get rid of the two. How awesome would it be to have one of those like integrally suppressed like air rifle things and just bring that out with you when you're deer hunting? I could have sat there, I could have had 10 squirrels. And if it was quiet enough, it's not going to really scare the deer away or anything. I guess I don't know how quiet those things are. I would think it wouldn't be that bad at all.
I don't know. Like a 22 with CB cats, you could silence pretty well because they're fairly quiet out of a rifle anyway. And they're subsonic, so there's no crack. If you have a rifle that's capable of using a shorter CB cab. I bought a couple of packages of those yesterday. It's the first time I've seen them in a while, or at least at Walmart. And I come home and I shot a few in the garage, just kind of pissing around to see how loud they were, and they're not real loud. I mean, they're loud enough to scare off ears or something without having some sort of silencer on the gun. But and I was using my Cricket, so fairly short barreled rifle. I think it's 16-inch barrel. If I'd used my Marlin, it would have been quieter still.
Well, and that's why I was thinking though, those like air rifles, because that's pretty cool how they just like they come suppressed. And I don't know
Not
what.
here.
Well,
Or at least as far as I know, we can't have anything in FA here.
well, that's the thing. Because it's air, it's not a firearm.
Yeah, but the silencer's still a silencer.
Well, if it's attached to the thing, I mean, this is my understanding, and maybe your state does it differently, but because it's like in the rifle itself, and that's an air rifle, it's not a firearm. It's like it's not like you could take that off and put it on something because it's all attached. Then
Right.
you can do it. It's not NFA. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just a pneumatic tube that projectiles come out of. But as far as the government's concerned, it's a chunk of metal. They don't care what. It's not a thing.
I would have to look into Illinois' law because I'm pretty sure that I read that any kind of suppressor or silencer is not allowed.
Right, and that
That could
could
be
be.
wrong.
Well, that's actually I know Michigan for a while there. We just changed it. Was it earlier this year? I mean, it was recent. I forget. Whatever. They treated air rifles, and that was kind of that's well, however they described that. It could be anything from like the actual like high powered stuff to like the little BB guns where you pump it once or whatever. Like, anyways, they treated all of those as firearms.
What's up,
So if you
jabronis?
what's going on, man?
Hey, Matt.
So if you were transporting literally like a pump action BB gun, which is not really a firearm in other states, you would have to put it in a case and put it in the trunk and keep the ammo from it separate and blah blah blah, just like you were transporting like a real rifle.
Yeah, Illinois separates those, so pellet guns and pneumatic rifles are not considered firearms here.
I don't know.
That I know for sure because you can
Well,
buy
they
them over the counter.
yeah, and they aren't here anymore. Like I said, that was like earlier this year they changed it. I think it might have been at last year at some point, but it's recent.
I don't think it's ever been like that here in North Carolina. I think they've always kept BB guns and pellet guns separate. But I'm not 100% on the law, but I never got in trouble by the police running around with my air gun, and I got, seen plenty times by them. So,
Well, you don't live in a communist state like Illinois.
thank God.
Although I really have to say, and I've said it a couple of times already, Illinois is way better than I thought it was before I saw what California and Hawaii and New York and New Hampshire were.
Right. Yeah. Once you get a little bit of perspective, you guys are like near the top 10, but not in the top 5 for worst for sure.
Right.
I think we're right in the middle. I think we're like 25th.
It's Michigan's in the middle every time, and it depends on what group is saying it. Like NRA saying like best states, or Bloomberg saying most dangerous states, or whatever, however they classify like the states with the worst gun laws. And I'm thinking, oh, it goes California, New York, Washington, Illinois, New Jersey, Hawaii. Like I'm thinking that, and I'm looking, and it's the number one is
Arizona.
whatever. Yeah, Arizona or like Montana,
Rhode Island.
and like all this shit. I'm like, oh, you mean like the ones with the least gun control laws? Okay,
Yeah, the A++ rating.
right. But either way, Michigan's always in the 20s, so we're about the middle. But I haven't actually looked in a while. Maybe I wonder if someone's done an updated one, because the last 3 or 4 years, like every year we've done 2 or 3 pro gun things, like gotten rid of something. And for example, the one would be the air rifles not being firearms anymore. Because I mean, that could cause you a lot of trouble if you didn't know. It's like you just took your kid's BB gun and you put it, whatever, packed it up because you're going on a trip or something. And they're like, oh, well, this isn't in a locked case. This isn't, separated from the ammo. It's not like, you're like, seriously? It's a freaking little BB gun. Like, it's not one of the high-powered air rifles. They don't care. They treat them all the same as if you just put a freaking, just a regular gun sitting in the back of your car or something, which is not allowed.
I'd like to see where Illinois sits after our concealed carry law, because we got a pretty good one. Our concealed carry gives us a lot of freedom that I did not expect at all for here.
Well, yeah, you might have jumped a little bit, but because it's so hard to get a concealed carry, like you're not going to get as many points as someone who has constitutional carry.
Yeah, but we are shall issue.
Well, and that's good. That was kind of a surprise. I figured they'd be like, okay, we'll quote unquote have concealed carry, but you better be the frickin' senator or something if you want to actually get one.
And we currently have a Republican governor, which he is fairly friendly to the Second Amendment.
Yeah, ours is too. I don't know that he's like pro-gun, but he obviously signed all of these things that repealed some of the laws or changed some of them. So he at least acts the part. I've never heard him speak out about like being pro-gun or anything, he is Republican, so he probably just kind of throws in like, oh, Second Amendment, blah. But like I don't think he's like a big advocate or anything. But to give him credit, he signs stuff when we pass things and send it to him.
Yeah, we got silencer or hearing protection, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's in committee here to try to allow them because nothing from the NFA is allowed in Illinois.
Yeah,
currently.
We just got a couple years ago, you can now hunt with a suppressor. So we got that, and they got rid of registration in Durham County for handguns. So I think our state jumped a little bit up the, pro-gun state list.
Yep.
But,
although there are some people in Michigan that want to like completely throw us down into the bottom of the list because they want to do an assault weapons ban. And they're basically copying off of like California, New York. Not the newest one in California, but like the way they had it before. Basically copying the 94.
Yeah.
Saying if you have one of these features, it's an assault weapon. And I think you just have to register it. They're not going to take them away yet. But then you can't get new ones. Which, in my opinion, is still...
eventually.
Yeah, in my opinion... I've used this line before when some guy was like, they're not coming to take your guns. It says right in there, grandfathered in. I said, okay, that's great. I don't own every gun yet that I want to. So you are confiscating a gun from future me. Because future me would have 12 ARs and I only have one. Therefore, you've taken 11 from me. That's just an example. I don't know how many I actually want.
I feel the same way. Like, future me would love to have a Russian AK and, HK. But yeah, if you take that away from me, then technically you're denying my right to that firearm.
Right.
To be honest with you, I don't want any of them because I just ain't interested in those, but I'm still vehemently opposed to them banning them.
Right. Because you're one of the rare people that, will protect everyone's right, even if you're not into it.
And I do my damnedest to convince guys that, every freaking gun out there started as a weapon of war. So if you don't protect them now, at some point they're going to come knocking on your door.
Oh yeah, I mean, since when has a freaking like a Mosin or something, like that's a battlefield rifle. You can't hold those. And it's like, wait a minute, dude, this is an old, big ass, heavy chunk of wood and all this. Like, this isn't an assault anything. It's like, well, no, it was used in battle.
Well, see, if you listen, they've changed that assault weapon to weapon of war.
Yeah,
it didn't really stick, but yeah, they've tried. They've tried using. I've heard those terms before, but it didn't really stick. All of the major anti-gun people still just say like assault weapon, and what they mean is AR and AK.
That was Obama's reasoning behind not bringing those Garand backs. He's like, I don't want these gangs to have these weapons of war.
They're like, yeah, okay, because 7-Elevens have been. Robbed by a fucking 50-year-old like boat paddle.
Yeah, it's because because the gangbangers are gonna, carry around a 10-pound, 3.5-foot long rifle.
Right. It's like
30-06, no less.
It's like California banning 50 caliber rifles. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's really a danger. A fucking 6 foot long, Barrett or whatever.
Oh, I heard it's because terrorists could get them and shoot down airplanes. It's like, well, terrorists, if they really want to shoot down an airplane, they'll get it anyway. So what's the fucking point?
It isn't like they're like, $150 on eBay.
Yeah, no kidding. 150 and add a couple zeros.
One round of ammo you might get for $150. I would like to have one just for comparison's sake, but I damn sure ain't gonna buy a package of ammunition just to get one. I'm in a 50 caliber cartridge, not the gun.
Yeah, that would be cool to have some just to sit on the shelf or something.
I have no purpose to have a 50 cal.
I wouldn't mind having one, but you know, you're right. I don't need one, and it's low on my list of guns that I would save up money for to buy. But at some point in my life, I wouldn't mind having one. I think that'd be just fun to play around with. My cousin has one, and
Really?
I know, like, you know, as a kid, okay, I was kind of into guns. It's like, yeah, that's neat, you know, whatever. But I wasn't into it enough to ever think about like, you should let me shoot that. And now I've been trying to like connect with him more. Now that I'm more into guns, it's like I can appreciate the type of stuff he has a little bit more. And so one of these times when we're up north, I'm gonna be like, hey, here's $20. Let's break out the big boy, man. Let's get
He
into
walks
some
out one.
I know. I think they're like $5 each or something.
I really don't know. I mean, I don't know. I might like to have one, but it would be way, way, way down on the list.
You know, I know he's shot one to scare some people away, and then instantly realized that was a dumb idea. Basically, he was sitting there, and these couple of guys like parked their truck right in front of his driveway because there were, you know, some deer across the street in the field. So the people were like watching the deer in the field. So he comes out and he you know, walks down there. He's like, "Hey guys, you know, like my wife's coming home soon, and you're blocking my driveway." Like they pulled off the side of the road, but then stopped like right at his driveway. It's like, can you like pull up 10 feet and whatever, you know? And these guys were being assholes. And they're like, "Hey, it's a free country. We can park wherever we want." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "Yeah, but you're blocking my driveway. You know, like what the hell?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, well, whatever, blah, blah, blah," you know, being jackasses. So he's like, "Oh, okay." So he goes inside. He grabs his 50. He said he you know puts it up and he aims at like the roof of their truck, and then he lifts up about a foot and he squeezes off a round. And he's like, I can only imagine what the concussion sounded like inside the truck. You know, he's like, he's half deaf because it bounced off of the side of his house. You know, 'cause he was just sitting on his porch, and so they both instantly like turn and look over at him, and he just waves at him. And by that time, the barrel had like come back down, so it's basically pointing at him. And it fucking tore ass out of there, squealing tires and shit. Like, ah! And he's like, oh shit. He goes, they're gonna call the cops. I'm fucked. So he goes, he puts the rifle away real quick and all this shit. He's sitting back out on the porch. He's like, oh god, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And so he comes up with this idea. He's like, well, if anyone asks, you know, because he owns the property across the street, or his mother-in-law does, which is my aunt. So he's like, okay, well, if anyone asks, like, there was coyotes chasing the deer, and I'm allowed to hunt, you know, coyotes whenever I want because it's my property. They're a nuisance and all that kind of stuff. You know, he's like, then I got to explain why did I use a 50 cal to hunt a coyote and all this shit. And obviously I missed because there's no coyote body and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, as soon as he did it, he's like, oh, fuck, I'm screwed. Well, it turns out cops never showed up, but.
Damn. My buddy, he was living downtown Wilmington, and he woke up one Sunday morning, and there's a guy just chilling on his front porch swing. So he walked out there, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, what you doing?" He's like, "Oh, you know, I'm just hanging out." And he was like, "Well, can you go hang out somewhere else? Because this is like my house." He was like, "No, this is America. I can do what I want to." And he was like, "No, you need to leave right now." And he was like, "No, you really can't make me leave." So he was like, "All right, I'll be back." So he went and got his Glock, and he walked out there and just kind of like had it in his hand. He was like, "All right, we can do this one of two ways. It's like either you leave now and nothing happens, or I call the cops and tell them to bring the corner with them." And he was just like, "Whoa, whoa, man, no need for that," and just like fucking ran off.
Yeah, some people, I don't know, man. They just uh, they don't think clearly or something. Like, oh, I'm just gonna sit on this dude's porch and he can't stop me. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell are you thinking?
Well, he thinks that he was homeless and he was probably like fucked up on something, so that's why he didn't really take it as a serious threat. And then my ex's cousin, he lived downtown, kind of around the same area, and he actually had a guy, homeless guy, break in to his house, and he was just like sleeping in their little foyer area. And he was like, "Yeah, you gotta leave." And he was like, "Oh, it's cold out there. I'm not leaving." So he went and got a shotgun and racked a shotgun. The guy was like bolted out the door.
No shit. Yep. So y'all got big plans for tomorrow?
I got to go to work at 4.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I gotta go in at 3.
I don't have to work tomorrow. Happy.
Yeah, cause you got a cool job. Like I'm trying to find my cool job so I don't ever have to work Black Friday and Thanksgiving again.
Well, I mean, it's not. It's not that great. Last year, I missed Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff because I was out of town working. Although Thanksgiving was kind of nice. It was like there was a whole bunch of us out of town, and the one dude, his fiance actually like moved out there with him for the 6 months, and so she cooked us Thanksgiving. So all the guys from work all went over to his apartment, and we had a nice little Thanksgiving dinner that she prepared. She was a little like homemaker, like she just liked doing that kind of stuff.
Well, that's how my roommate is. She cooks like me and my other roommate like Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday. Like didn't even realize that like we were at the gun show. We came home and it's like turkey and all the fixings and everything. I was like, "Damn, Cameron, you need to put a ring on it because it's hard to find a girl like this nowadays that like actually enjoys cooking but doesn't try to make like a feminist thing out of it."
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was very nice. It was like a little slice of home with, a bunch of guys that I've been working with for a while, and I got to know them pretty good anyways because of the, being out of town for over 6 months working on a thing. And, we'd end up going out to dinner a couple times a week together or, whatever, do some stuff. Like we all went to the hockey game when the Wings were in town. That was fun. Except they all got good seats and I had to buy my own tickets.
Yeah, the last game, the Hurricanes game I went to, they were playing the Flyers, And two of the people I went with, they're from Philly, huge Flyers fans. So they went early to watch warm-ups, and she actually got hit in the head with a puck. And had to go to the little in-care emergency to make sure she didn't need stitches or anything. So she got a picture of her holding the puck, and then another picture of her bloody head. I was well, hey, at least a Flyers player hit you and not a Hurricanes player.
Yeah, that was my old neighbor, when I was growing up. She was telling the story about she was at, Olympia, which is where the Wings used to play, and she got hit in the head with a puck during the game, and needed a couple stitches and stuff, and they took her into the team locker room. And it's all of the team doctor stitched her up, and then they gave her autographed sticks and then a jersey and all this stuff.
It's almost worth it.
But she's and the whole team came in and talked to her and stuff because it, I don't know, it happened right before the end of the period or something. I forget what. But she was basically in the locker room with the whole team while they were doing their stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And she's like, yeah, all I could think of is my mom was going to be mad at me and I'd get in trouble. It's I didn't even think to talk to any of them or anything. She's I was just so worried about my mom was going to be mad at me. And I'm who the heck gets mad at someone for getting hurt? God damn it, you had an accident. I'm so mad at you. You're grounded. What?
Yeah, it's not her fault she got hit in the head with a hockey puck.
Well, it might have been if you asked Don Cherry.
Oh.
There's a clip of him from back in the 70s. And some lady gets hit with the puck and he straight up was this is why women shouldn't be allowed to go to hockey games.
Damn.
And how he's got the other, I don't know if you guys all watched Hockey Night in Canada. But anyways, the dude, he wears the crazy jackets, big bright colors and stuff. Maybe you might have seen him. But anyways, the other guy that's there is kind of always toning him down. Now, you don't really mean that. And he's no, I do mean it. They come here, they don't understand the game. They're just sitting there talking. They're not even watching the game. It's crazy. That's why they get hit with the puck. And they're not paying attention to the game because they don't understand it. And all this shit. And the guy's now, come on. I mean, it can happen to anyone. It's an accident. Guys get hit with pucks sometimes too. And he's well, then maybe they don't understand hockey either. And they're more like women. And he doubled down. No, women don't get hockey. It's too complicated for them. They're too dumb. He just was going off. It was hilarious.
Does that guy still have a job?
Oh, yeah. This was in the 70s, man. They didn't care as much back then.
Shit back then.
I mean, he's still on Hockey Night in Canada.
I can't remember what coach it was, but I think it was the SEC coach, and he had just lost the last game, and one of the reporters were well, what do you plan on doing to rebuild for next year? And he was well, I'm going to go find me some big, fast black boys to come play for me. And the reporter was just I don't think you can say that.
I mean, it might be true, but yeah, you're not supposed to say it out loud.
Yeah, there's such things as good stereotyping, all Asians are smart at math. It's I guess that's a compliment, but then you're lumping all Asians into a category. So it's kind of stereotypical and racist.
People just need to grow a thicker skin. All this political correctness is absurd.
I honestly hope they keep doing it because it's just going to make it easier for Republicans to get elected. Because all they have to be is hey, do you want your leaders catering to people like this that can't, comprehend reality and just rather just protest everything when they don't get their way? And I think a lot of people would be like, no, I don't want that. I'll vote for this guy. Like, I think that's half the reason Trump won is because of the regressive left and this whole free speech, political correctness movement.
A lot of it, I think Trump got to get off their ass and vote.
Yeah, I think all the scandals that were surrounding her, and it's like, holy shit, if this woman gets in, she's going to have control of the courts. She might get control of the Senate. It's like, I don't really like Trump, but hell, I don't want her in there, so I'm going to go vote for him. And I think it probably, and then like in Pennsylvania, you know, the same people that voted for Obama twice voted for Trump. And I have to think that some of them are gun owners, and they hear her talking about how she thinks they got the Heller decision wrong. So I would imagine that some of them were like, well, that's one of my big issues, so there's no way I can vote for her.
Yeah, they've definitely said 100%. She lost Pennsylvania because of guns. So
Well,
hopefully
good,
that's a lesson to all the other ones. Leave our fucking guns alone, and you might actually get elected.
Yeah.
Be a jerk about it, and you're screwed.
It's like there's a reason Jim Webb keeps getting reelected because he's a blue guy in a red state is because he's kind of pro-gun. Like, I don't think he's ever sponsored any kind of gun legislation.
What are we looking at? Tubes? I want to see these tubes they're talking about.
The thing is that the Second Amendment is the most important amendment of the Bill of Rights because it defends all the others.
So I took the wife to the range.
Sorry, I was enjoying an adult beverage. Some lady today, our whole store's 50% off. And she came up to one of my managers and was like, how much is this going to cost? And he's like, well, it's 50% off. And she was like, yeah, well, how much is this going to cost? And I was like, you should have been like, if there's 100 students in the classroom and 50 are good at math and 50 aren't, and you're part of the 50 that aren't good at math, how many students does that leave? But yeah, it's just like simple arithmetic. People can't figure it out. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, awesome sale that's going on here locally is the base is doing 20% off on all firearms in stock.
Oh, nice.
So I took the wife to the range today, put a Smith & Wesson 686 Plus in her hands, and yeah, we'll be picking one up on Saturday.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's not been a fan of the other firearms, but when I put that in her hands, first shot, she turned around and just kind of smiled. It's like, yep, get me a new gun.
For some reason, I always figured Army. Are you talking about like at a PX has the sale going on?
Yeah.
I always assumed for some reason they wouldn't be able to sell firearms on bases like that.
They actually do, quite a few of them. But, you know, they escort you out of the building and you get in your car and you drive immediately off base. But
yeah, because like my parents live in Jacksonville, and like all her friends that have, you know, their husbands are retired Marine Corps, they always go on the PX. because it's it's a little bit cheaper. But I never thought about having firearms on a base like that.
Evidently, Obama didn't either.
Well, it doesn't matter because Trump's going to make America great again, which means getting rid of gun-free zones on military bases.
Well, that's what I think. I thought I saw something that was coming.
Yeah, that's one of the 100 things he wants to do. It's or one of the 5. I think it's that, suppressors, national reciprocity, and strengthening the background check system. But I'm kind of like with Yankee, he needs to start enforcing federal gun laws on these states that are anti-gun, saying, no, you can't do this, or either you can meet us in court.
Yeah, I mean that's I typed it in the news thing, and this is from like NBC 20 hours ago. Department of Defense changes policy to allow concealed firearms on military bases.
But that, I believe, what you're talking about is left up to the base commander's discretion. And here's the problem with that, right? You leave it up to the base commander, and something happens, right? Somebody brings in a gun, which they could have done anyways, start shooting the place up. Because he allowed it on base, suddenly he will be held responsible for it, and he gets fired.
Yeah, the buck stops with
Even though,
him, I guess.
yeah, I don't see it happening. Generally speaking, you don't ever see people allow things just in case something happens and they get blamed for it, which is unfortunate in the military.
Yeah, but all Trump's got to say is make it so, because he's the boss.
That is a possibility. Well, I'm not sure if the current, no firearms on base, I don't know if that was made a law or if that is just military policy, because he can just outright change military policy. That's not a problem.
Wasn't Bill Clinton the one that passed that law?
George W.
Or was it W?
Here's the funny thing is there's already plenty of bases where you're actually allowed to have a firearm in your house in base housing. So, I mean, the base that I'm currently at is like that. You can have a firearm in base housing. But recently there was a negligent discharge in base housing or some other form of accident. I don't remember exactly what it was. And then I guess they came out and immediately told everybody, yeah, you can have a gun in your house, but you can't have it loaded.
This is how we treat the people who defend our country. It is absolutely absurd.
Well, I mean, you see similar stuff when you're deployed. When we're deployed, they hand us, an M16, M4, whatever, and they tell us do not chamber around. Or, in some instances, we were handed an empty magazine and told only to put the empty magazine into the weapon. So, and even in those circumstances, you still get people getting shot in the foot in the chow hall. That's one thing that kind of happened on my last trip to Afghanistan.
Okay.
Yeah, what I'm saying is people just kind of break the rules because they don't like walking around the way they're told to. Just like that, I think it was that recruiting station. There was, or I don't remember what it was. One of those shootings. There was like one or two soldiers that were there that actually had weapons on them when they weren't supposed to.
Right, and it's almost it's a good thing they did, right? Because when they returned fire, I think that's what
Yeah,
screwed him up. I don't know that they got him. I forget because
I think it was the Memphis one. Yeah, the guy returned fire. I don't think he hit him, but it probably did scare him off.
right, and then that's the dude. I think police ended up shooting him a little bit later or something. I forget all the details and that kind of stuff.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, I remember a few years ago there was a shooting in New York City where like a guy walked into his former employment and I think he shot and killed the boss. And he walked out on the street and he got, surrounded by like 6 or 7, police officers and they shot him dead, but then they end up hitting like 3 or 4 other people with stray bullets. So it's like who's more dangerous, the damn police or the actual gunman?
Yeah,
Well,
the
I
whole
suppose
being
that
able
some
to
of them-
carry. I'm kind
I
of on
suppose
the
that some of the cops only shoot when they have to carry or when they have to qualify.
I was about to say I'm kind of on the fence when it comes to the whole being able to carry on base, and it's just based off of what I've seen soldiers do, especially when you give them all firearms. Um, the number of times we've been out in the field where we're working with blanks and miles gear and whatnot, you'll be sitting there and all of a sudden a round will pop off and you'll hear somebody yell test fire. Then there's a guy who's currently in my shop now who keeps talking to people about his Springfield XD 1911 that he is really adamant about open carrying around Aurora, Colorado. So a lot of sketchy people with firearms in the military. It's kind of scary. Then you got the whole option. Then you got the whole problem of, okay, who would have the authority to disarm people? We're talking immediate supervisors, anybody. Of course, security forces would be an option. The commander. But if your immediate boss could just could potentially just come up to you and say, hand over your weapon. So there's a lot of things for people to really think about before they just start letting people carry on base. My 2 cents.
I guess I'm kind of surprised that there's that much of a problem with it.
It comes down to the military structure and the authority that people have over one another. It's a different environment, and that's what they need to work out ROEs. And you start getting into this potential of, okay, you can carry a weapon on, but because you're in uniform, now you can only carry full metal jacket rounds because you're a military service member, and it would be against the I can't remember which. I don't know if it was the Hague Conventions or whatnot, but anyways, that we can't carry hollow point rounds. So all of a sudden they suddenly tell you that you must carry FMJs if you want to carry, even though it's not an armed conflict; it's a self-defense thing. Laws like that.
Yeah, I suppose you could expect that.
Yeah, a real-world example of people taking law of armed conflict and just applying it to everything that we do would be immediately after the Hurricane Katrina. We were ready to go about 12 hours after that hurricane made landfall. We were packed up. Our gear was ready to go. We sat there and waited for 6 days while they argued about whether or not it was legal to deploy active duty service members on U.S. soil due to posse comitatus.
I always thought it was illegal for them to do it, so I guess I can see how there's questions.
It's illegal for us to enforce laws, right? Because I'm active duty military. It's illegal for me to be ordered to or go out there and enforce laws. It is not illegal in any way, shape, or form for me to go out, hand out food, patch people's roofs, and clear debris.
Now, for y'all to enforce law, that's when they have to declare martial law, correct?
Only the National Guard.
Okay.
Active duty military cannot be ordered to enforce laws.
And I think that's kind of a good thing. I mean, that's the idea being is when you have the military, you know, cruising your streets, enforcing laws or whatever, that's like, you know, what,
State.
that's what, like, yeah.
So it won't be
That's
y'all
actually-
coming to kick in our doors and get our
You know,
guns.
could you imagine if, like, right, that's what I was gonna say. Like, you imagine if Hillary won and then ordered the military to go carry out her crazy ideas, like, we'd all be against that. Now, granted, most of them wouldn't even do it, but that's a different story.
Yeah, just about every veteran I've ever talked to, because I asked him, I was like, so if you ever got some crazy order saying, here's a list of people we know that own guns, go door to door and confiscate them, they would be like, absolutely, I want to do that. And then I would actually question the order and question the constitutionality of that order. And hopefully my generals would come to the same conclusion and not follow it.
Right. Well, and that's the same. I mean, they've asked like cops about that, and there's been a lot of, you know, sheriffs and different things that are like, yeah, we're not doing that. Like, if the state tells us to go get everyone's guns, we're gonna say, we're on break. We'll do that tomorrow, and just keep like not doing it.
Yeah, I think after New York passed the SAFE Act, I think all but one of the county sheriffs came out and said, yeah, we're not enforcing this, so don't worry about it.
Well, I like that sentiment. I would still worry about it because, you know, it's only a vote away or an appointment away to all of a sudden someone who does want to do it. But that's something liberals do a lot, where they'll pass something and you'll be like, oh man, like this registry is bad because, you know, they could use it for confiscation and blah blah blah. And they always go, oh, but don't worry, they're not going to do that. Like they won't enforce that part of the law. Like, you know, if there's something in there, well, like the transfer thing, right? If you hand a gun to someone that isn't like an immediate family member, or you're not like at an official gun range, that's a transfer. Like, if you're sitting in your living room and you say, hey dude, like, that's a neat gun, can I see it? And your buddy's like, sure, and hands it to you, and then you're like, oh yeah, that is neat, hand it back to him. Like, technically that's illegal. And if you bring that up to some of these liberals that are pushing for the thing, they'll be like, oh yeah, but no, I mean, no one's gonna do that. Like, just because in the law it says that's illegal, like, don't worry, they'll never prosecute you for that. And it's like, okay, well, I don't believe you.
No,
I think they won't prosecute you at first. And if it stands for 10 years from now, they're going to be cracking down on, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I don't understand that logic. Like, we need to pass this law. And it's like, well, what if we take this part out because, you know, it's bad? And they'll be like, oh, don't worry about that little part. We're not even going to enforce that part of it. It's only for, you know, the bad guys who sell guns. Like, don't even worry about that transfer thing. It's like, well, then how about just take it out? If you're not going to enforce it, just take it out. It's not going to matter. Well, let's just go ahead and leave it in there and just not enforce it. Like, that'd be fine. It's like, no, how about you just take it out and then not do the thing? How about you just not pass the whole thing anyways? But at least, take that part out of it.
My
There's an
thoughts
example
have
of.
been,
So
go
I'll
ahead.
say there's an example of that in Washington. I think I've told the story before where this preacher at a church, anti-gun preacher, that there was a youth baseball team and they are raising funds for the team by raffling off an AR-15. So he used church money to buy most of the tickets, knowing that he would probably win it. So he ends up winning it. They do the background check before they transfer it to him. Well, he doesn't have any safe place to store it, so he gives it to one of his buddies without doing a background check. And he tells somebody this. He tells like a local news report, just kind of nonchalant, not thinking about it. So this pro-gun organization called him out, and they called the state police and were like, yo, this guy just broke the law. You need to prosecute him. And the prosecutors essentially said, well, we can't find any evidence that he had intent to do it. Therefore, we're not going to press any charges. So it's like they're going to go after the people that they want to go after and not go after the people they don't want to go after. And it's like, this law's stupid. Here's the proof. But yeah, nothing happened about it because, the people that would prosecute them are anti-gun just like this preacher. So they don't want to hurt one of their own.
And the anti-gun people are going to say, see, that if you do that, you won't get prosecuted either. And it's like, unless they have a hard on for like trying to take you out for some reason, then they'll look forever. I mean, shit, my buddy's guns are at my house right now. He hasn't picked them up since we went up north shooting. He left them here so we could clean them. And then the night he came over and we cleaned all of them, he's like, yeah, I don't feel like loading my car up. He's kind of lazy and he's busy at work and they're still sitting here. So is that count as a transfer? Like, what the hell, Luckily, we don't have that, so I don't have to worry about it. But
yeah, the whole transfer law is stupid. But they have to have it for their universal background check to work.
and
even
actually,
that's not going to work.
I was just thinking about it though, because I do have his handguns here. Luckily, I have my CPL. Because if I didn't, that part of it would be illegal. Because you can't loan handguns to people unless like they have a CPL. I think something like that.
That's how it is up here. I can't privately sell a handgun to someone unless they either have a permit or a concealed carry license.
Well, you can sell to whoever. You have to fill out the registration card thingy, and the seller keeps a copy of it, and then the buyer keeps a copy, and he turns a copy over to the state police so they can put it in the system. And it's the buyer's responsibility to do that. So if he gets caught with it like later and he never did that and it's like in the other guy's name, let's say I sell one of mine or whatever, they come knocking on my door and say, hey, this dude had your gun. I'm like, oh, well, I sold it to him. See, here's the thing that we both signed saying like I transferred it over to him. So it's his fault he didn't turn the thing in. And then it's another, you have like a week to turn it in. Otherwise it's a crime.
We don't have that shit here either. Illinois is looking better every day.
Yeah, that's the one thing that if we got rid of handgun registration, Michigan would jump up like at least 10 spots. That's the one thing that's still bad. But you used to have to get a purchase permit beforehand, which would basically, it was up to the county. A lot of counties, it's like you go in like, I want a purchase permit. You have to answer a little like 10 question true or false thing that was like so dumb. There's no way you could fail it. And, although maybe, I don't know, someone did. I don't know. But then they a lot of places, they'll just like give you like that card that then the gun store or whatever will fill out. But in Wayne County, which is what Detroit is in, there's something in there like it can be like up to 3 days. They wait 3 days no matter what. And they say, oh, well, we're busy. It's like, no, dude, you're just fucking making me wait. Like you could have gave that to me right there on the spot. But
we have a 72-hour wait on handguns and a 24-hour wait on long guns.
Yeah, see, we don't have any weights, and that's the thing. That was kind of a weight, depending. It was basically only Detroit was the one that did it. That was like the only county that had a weight. Maybe some of the other ones that are a little more blue, but that was about it. And like I said, we got rid of that, so now you can just print that little card up like a PDF off the state website, and then like the gun store just has a whole bunch of those. And so if you buy it like from an FFL, you do the normal 4473, all that stuff, and then they give you your copies of the card that you got to go turn in, and then keep one for yourself. And technically, you really only have to keep that one for, like, after you turn in, they say keep it up like to a month. This way, if it's not in the computer system yet and you get caught with it, you'll be like, well, no, see, this is my thing, and I did turn it in. They just didn't type it in the computer yet. But I keep mine forever, just so it could, no matter what, it's like, okay, yeah, I got this fucking 10 years ago, and here's the thing for it. I guess I don't carry it with me all the time, so that's kind of defeating the purpose if I get caught carrying. I say caught, like I'm doing something wrong. If they think I'm doing something wrong, I wouldn't be getting caught because I wouldn't be doing anything wrong. Either way, I have it in a safe place at my house.
Well, the ultimate goal of the antis is to get rid of every gun. So they're always working toward that end. It's probably a complete impossibility.
Right. And that's the thing when arguing with antis, they never like to admit to that, but that is their goal. So a lot of times I like to at least do like some type of like, argument, debate strategy or whatever, to at least kind of like get them to admit that that's what they're going for, because then you can at least have an honest discussion. It's like, stop pretending like you're pro Second Amendment or you don't have a problem with any gun, because you do. You don't like any of them. So, and that's fine. Like, we can have difference of opinions, but at least let's be on a level playground where you know my position and I know your real position, and we can talk about it. I just hate the I don't like the fake stuff. Like, it's hard to have a reasonable debate and an honest intellectual discussion when one of the people is misrepresenting what they actually think.
Now, I believe that Trump, in his pro-gun statement, whatever he released a couple months back, something I read from him, and I think that's where it came from. He said that the government has no business whatsoever telling a citizen what kind of gun they could own.
And that's good. I agree with that.
I do too. But that right there kind of points towards killing the NFA.
I still think getting rid of the NFA is going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening in the next 4 to 8 years or anything. I mean, that is a long-term battle.
Yeah.
I think suppressor's the easy one, and hopefully we can get some momentum and keep going. But I also think there's a lot of people that, like, once that does happen, there won't be as much support for getting rid of the NFA, because people be like, well, I mean, it's only full autos and stuff, and you don't need those. Like, I think there's a lot of gun people that are not behind getting rid of the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I know plenty of, like, my dad, like, he hunts, he owns guns, but he would never be like, yeah, I think anyone should own a machine gun. And it's like, I think, even some Republican senators are going to be like, no, I don't think people should own machine guns. They might be in favor of getting rid of the Hughes, but I don't think they'll ever totally want to get rid of the NFA, at least the machine gun part.
Right. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with like background checks. They're anti-universal background checks, but then it's like, well, let's just get rid of all of them then. Like, let's just get rid of the 4473. Well, no, I mean, we need to do background checks at gun stores and stuff. There's a lot of people like that as well.
Yeah, I mean, no matter, like, I know G-Web's big thing is like, you know, tell me, point to crimes that have been stopped by the 4473. And that's probably true. But, you know, just the idea, since we've had the 4473 for such a long time, like the idea of just going back to, you know, pre-68 where, hey, I like this 22 in the Sears Roebuck catalog. I'm going to have it shipped to my house. You know, a lot of people just aren't comfortable with that. That aren't like, they might not be anti-gun, and they might not be pro-gun. They might be in the middle. But, you know, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, I think if you buy a gun, you should have a background check. Doesn't matter if it stops crime or not. You know, it makes me feel better.
Right. Well, and just for, I don't know, correctness or whatever, like, I'm pretty sure, I don't, let's put it as a question because I don't know for sure. But the background checks didn't start in 68. 68 just made FFLs. So, like, that was where you had to, you know, okay, it stopped people just delivering to your house or whatever. But
all right, maybe that's where I got
but the
confused.
background checks didn't come in till the Brady, you know, is the Brady bill.
Yeah, like 86.
Well, the Brady bill is 93. But see, I thought the 68 prohibited felons from owning guns. Now, how would they know if they're a felon if they weren't doing a background check?
Well, it could still prohibit them from owning guns, and it's just
They just can't.
if they get caught with guns, then they're in trouble. But you know, it's like, say, you know, it's illegal to speed, but that doesn't mean that they stop you from doing it in the first place. You just get in trouble if they catch you doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like cars can't go more than 70 miles an hour. It just means if you get caught going more than 70 miles an hour, you get in trouble.
Yeah, because I always wondered, like, before background checks, like, you know, 68 prohibited felons and whatnot. It's like, you know, when they passed the law, did they really think felons were going to be like, oh, guess I'll go turn in my guns now?
Well, no, but part of that too, because that's, oh, geez. I mean, I don't know how to say this right, but like, it provides another tool for them to be prosecuted with. I don't think necessarily anyone thinks that, you know, oh yeah, criminals are just going to follow the laws, therefore, like, everything will be fixed. I really don't think most people think that criminals will follow the laws. Like, they know they're going to break it, but then they also know that, hey, you know, we can get them in trouble if they do.
Yeah, maybe I guess I was confused about the whole background check. Because when I read the 68, and I was like, well, they must have done some kind of background check back then. I just thought they didn't do NICS until like 93.
Right. No, I don't. And that's where I am questioning. So I don't know if maybe someone in the chat knows for sure, but I thought that there just wasn't, you know, there wasn't a background check until then.
There, for gun owners in Illinois, there was. That's when the FOID system started in like 68.
Yeah, I've always wondered that because, like,
Okay,
you
yeah.
know, I wasn't alive in 68.
And that's, you know, I bought my first gun in 2012, so like I didn't really interact with gun sales back then, you know.
It's like in
Illinois is kinda
'93, I was 9, so I wasn't buying any guns. So I've never bought a gun that wasn't either NICS checked or a private purchase. So I don't know
See,
how
and
it was before that.
and that's their strength, is kind of what you said earlier, is that once you get something in and it goes on for a while, if they can get people to, like, forget about it for a little bit or whatever, then you get a whole new generation where they've never known any different. And so, you know, like, your statement is exactly what they want. It's like, well, I I mean, we've had it forever, so oh well. And it's like once you educate people, like we actually haven't had it forever, and there wasn't huge problems back in the day. Like it wasn't that big of a deal. And they're like, and that's where I think it's like, well, then now it's time to justify the whole thing because you guys keep saying we need these things, we need them, we need them. Well, prove that we need it because when it was first put in, there wasn't a problem that you were solving. It's one of those, right? It was like a solution looking for a problem. And then just because we've had it for a longer time, people just assume, well, there must have been a problem that this was solving back when they passed it because why else would they do it?
Well, let me ask you this. Would you take the Illinois type point system where you have to take a background check and pay $10 every 10 years to eliminate the 4473?
Oh, that's Smeggy's good guy card. I think Smeggy had that idea already. He called it like a good guy card, and it was essentially like a card that says, "I'm not a criminal, so give me my gun."
And to be fair on that aspect, you're right. I did say something like that. But the reason I did, I was suggesting that not necessarily as a good idea because personally, I don't. It's okay. Let me answer Tony's question. I don't know if that's a trade-off that is more beneficial or less beneficial. Part of me would lean towards no. I wouldn't make that trade because at least the 4473, if they want to come find you, is a pain in the ass for them to figure out what you have. Whereas if you had this card, then they know right off the bat, like, oh yeah, it's a gun owner. But the reason I brought up the quote-unquote good guy card is like a hypothetical argument you're having with someone who wants background checks. And the thing is, it was more just to prove that they don't actually just care about background checks. What they care about is a registry. And you prove that by saying, okay, what if we did some type of background check but never recorded the serial number of the gun? And all of a sudden they're not behind that. They don't like that. And it's like, well, if you really only cared about making sure like the person was a good guy, then you wouldn't care if anything was recorded or not. You would just care if they were a good guy or not.
So that's the thing with the FOID system. They don't know what you got. They just know that you applied to be a gun owner.
Well, here's a way we could get rid of the NFA. Just be like, yeah, we'll pass your universal background checks, but you have to get rid of the NFA. It's like, let us own whatever you want to, and then you'll have your stupid little list that tells everyone what we have.
God, I don't want to trade off anything if I can avoid it.
Right, yeah, see, that's...
Like, would that be a compromise that you think gun owners would go for? Like a universal background check, nationwide universal background check if it got rid of the NFA?
I wouldn't.
I might if there was an alternative way of doing the check that wasn't, again, recording serial numbers and stuff. Because I never understood that. If you're checking the person, why do you care which gun it is that I'm trying to buy? Like, that should have nothing to do with it. Check the person, check me, and then keep a piece of paper that says, yep, the Nick said this guy's a good guy. And why should the store have to keep track of which gun I bought? Or why, if I'm doing a private sale, should I have to go to an FFL and then fill out the paperwork which says, what gun I bought with the serial number and all that stuff?
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the whole ethnicity question. It's like, why do you need to know if I'm like a Hispanic or a black guy or a white guy?
No, that's totally racist. I completely agree with that
unless
shit.
you're tracking it somehow. Yeah, that's how we should get rid of it. We should go to the snowflakes and been like, hey, this is racist. We got to get rid of it, and just somehow get them on board.
It's also sexist because it asks for your gender.
Yeah, exactly. then it says illegal alien. Ooh, we can't. Oh, trigger words. We got to get rid of those. Yeah, and it kind of goes what Smeggy's saying. It's like, why do you need to know the make of the gun along with like what's your race unless they're somehow keeping tabs on it?
Well, the universal background check, I firmly believe, is the pathway to registration.
Oh, absolutely, because there's no way to enforce it without a registration.
Right. And that's
It's
why
like if
I
me and you, yeah, it's just like if me and you met private to private, and I sold you a gun under the universal background check. We have to do a FFL transfer, and they get a record of it. But in the end, that's not going to stop any crime. So they're going to be like, oh, well, now we have to have a registry of everything that everybody owns.
It's like that. I just seen the other day where they was talking about how important it was to shut down the people being able to buy guns over the internet. And I'm thinking, you have to go through an FFL unless you're what? Craigslist them?
Yeah, unless it's a in-person state. Like I couldn't go to like South Carolina and buy Night Strikes C308. But if I met someone in North Carolina, that's totally legal. Because then it doesn't violate the Interstate Commerce Act since we're not crossing state lines. Which is how I think they got the 68 Gun Control Act passed and saying it was constitutional.
Well, I suppose it depends on the Supreme Court in the end what ultimately happens, because that's probably the most likely route that something would be done. I'm afraid too many politicians would think they would be committing political suicide to like do away with the NFA completely, or the 68 Gun Control Act. But if you get a conservative Supreme Court to say that it's unconstitutional.
Yeah. Like we got Ted Cruz in there, and he said, 68 Gun Control Act, that's unconstitutional, and I'm here for life, so I don't really care how, it affects my popularity.
Right, that's kind of why I say that it's going to rest in the purview of the Supreme Court, most likely.
Well, it's funny because I was reading about, from what I know from the NFA, and there's a court case, and it's Miller versus someone. I don't know if it's Miller versus the United States or Miller versus another person, but essentially he got caught with a short barrel shotgun, and they argued that if it was a common use weapon in militaries, then it shouldn't be an NFA item. Well, he was arguing that shotguns had military application, but something happened where he just didn't show up to court, so they ruled against him, and then he ends up getting killed or something like a year later or something crazy like that. But so it's like there's room there to try to like challenge parts of the NFA, because from what I can understand, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not nearly as smart as all these other people that, look at this stuff, but it sounds like that if it's a commonly used like military weapon, then it shouldn't be on the NFA.
And something with that, the NFA case, it had something to do with like, because he was a felon,
Yeah.
And the NFA, and the NFA, would be like, you have to register your stuff. He would be, when they call that, like, he'd be testifying against himself, right?
Self-incrimination.
Yeah, he would be incriminating, right? He'd be incriminating himself by registering his firearm with the government, because he'd have to say, "Hey, I have this thing," and they'd be like, "You're not allowed to have that." And so that was kind of how they challenged it. But you're right, something happened, and it's like there was traction there, but then it didn't go anywhere because of other stuff. But that was how they opened the door, was something about like the incrimination, like, and that'd be almost the same thing with like the SAFE Act or any of these other like assault weapon registration things. Like, well, you'd be asking people to incriminate themselves if
Yeah.
they have something they're not supposed to.
Yeah, you don't want to be the patsy. Like the courts might rule in your favor, but if they don't, you're kind of fucked.
Well, yeah, you're right. I don't want to be the. I personally don't want to be the case to challenge that, but
No, me neither. But somebody should be or needs to be once we get a court set. I don't think Trump just replacing Scalia is enough. I think somebody like Ginsburg needs to retire and get another one.
yeah, we need a switch, because replacing well, you just said his name, whatever the hell his name was. Scalia, yeah. Sorry, my brain's not working good. Just replacing him just takes it back to what it was before, anyways. We're not getting ahead. So we need a liberal to retire, and then we need to replace that liberal with another conservative. And now we got the advantage. But
Well, I can tell you,
unfortunately,
Ginsburg ain't going to retire while Trump's in there.
well, that's
She will.
that's what I was gonna say, is that unfortunately they only retire like once their side is in power, so that they can be replaced with the same type of person. Um, but when you're getting old enough or whatever, there can be medical reasons or something that where you just can't hold out any longer. So there might be something like that where some of the liberal ones are like, well, I can't do it anymore. I'm
Well,
trying to hold on, but I can't.
she's
She is really
83.
old.
She's 83. She's got to be one of the older ones on the court. So maybe, I don't know, maybe she'll have some kind of health issue and she'll have to like retire.
Well, then maybe she got greedy and she should have retired when Obama was still in office, like a couple years ago. But she got greedy and tried to do some more.
Well, guys, I'm going to bail.
All right, see you, man.
Take it easy.
Yeah, thanks for jumping
We'll
in
see
and
you
helping me
tomorrow.
start out.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah, we just need Ted Cruz in there because apparently he's not very popular in the Senate. So
Oh shit! I might actually lose this one. God damn it!
Yeah, I'm reading about the NFA. Yeah, in 1968, Haynes versus United States in favor of the defendant, which effectively gutted the National Act of 34, as one could possess an NFA firearm and choose not to register it and not face prosecution due to Fifth Amendment protections. The act was unenforceable. To deal with this, Congress removed the act to make registration of existing weapons impossible except by the government. In addition to fixing the defect identified in the case, revisions tightened definitions of firearms regulated by the act, as well as incorporating a new category of firearms, destructive devices, which was first regulated in the Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Act of 1968. And in the Miller case in 1938, defendant Miller had been arrested in possession of an unregistered double-barrel shotgun and was unlawfully transporting it in the interstate commerce of Claremore, Oklahoma to somewhere in Arkansas, which perfected the crime. The government's argument was that short-barrel shotgun was not a military-type weapon and thus not a militia weapon protected by the Second Amendment from federal infringement. The district court agreed with Miller's argument that this shotgun was legal under the Second Amendment, said the district court ruling was overturned on a direct appeal to the Supreme Court, United States v. Miller. No brief was filed on behalf of the defendants, and the defendant himself did not appear before the Supreme Court. Miller himself had been murdered 1 month prior to the Supreme Court decision. Sounds like a bunch of malarkey to me.
Yep. So that was one of those ones like it probably would have won if they could have just like shown up or whatever.
Yeah. Well, now the Montana Firearms Freedom Act, which is essentially says, you know, if you buy a suppressor made in Montana and you don't leave the state with it, then it's perfectly legal. They're saying that could be the next case to challenge the NFA. It says as of April 2013, similar laws have been acted in Kansas, Tennessee, Wyoming, South Dakota, Utah, Arizona, Idaho, and Alaska. And other states are trying to do the same thing. So the legislation declares that certain firearms and firearms accessories manufactured, sold, and kept within the state of Montana are exempt from federal firearms laws since they cannot be regulated by interstate commerce. Which is totally true in my opinion.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe if we get, you know, Ted Cruz or someone up there that's pro-gun, and then we, you know, if something happens to Ginsburg or another one of the liberal justices, we get another person up there, and then, you know, maybe if they bring one of these, you know, laws up there, you know, maybe we can get rid of the NFA or parts of it.
Yep.
See, my little dog's going crazy, so somebody must be home. Or they're just barking at random shit.
Yeah, it's a little dog. Who knows?
He fucks around with the big one though. He's pretty tough. He doesn't take a lot of shit, even though he's tiny. You gonna go try shooting over the holiday?
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought about if I went home because there's a pretty decent rifle range right outside where my parents live. But I don't think I'm gonna go back home anymore because of work. So I was gonna take my grand out there and shoot it.
What's up, guys?
It's good timing, Brandon.
What's going on?
Very little.
I was just trying to post the link, and I accidentally, I guess, I had the thing about the military bases saved up on my thing. So it's like I posted that. I was like, "Oh crap! I need to go get the actual link." And you're like, "Oh, what's the link?" Like, as a matter of fact, I was trying to just post that. Sometimes I forget about that. I mean, it's like we'll be sitting here talking, and I forget, like, oh, some people like jump in and they don't have all the stuff from earlier.
What show? So what's everybody's plans for Thanksgiving?
I gotta work.
I'm gonna eat food and then sleep. That sounds exciting.
Oh yeah, man. Dude, I remember when I was a kid, like when I was like 15, and statute of limitations. So I used to get all baked, and Thanksgiving was like my favorite holiday. But I no longer smoke weed anymore, so.
Hope not with that like Saul sitting back there.
Yeah. Gonna go to Cabela's right now and do some last minute shopping.
Do they have sales going
Sounds
on
like you're
already?
prepping for war. It's like the zombie apocalypse happened.
Right.
Oh, dude, Cabela's I think is starting up tonight at like 9. They're like reopening their store or some shit.
Slippy dippy.
Hey,
Hey, dude, are you on Facebook?
nope,
So that's not you?
nope.
Somebody made a fake account of you then.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was Mika trying to get proof of life.
Maybe. I'm telling you that Flippy is not real.
Flippy has no gun.
You know what's crazy, dude, is when Flippy like ends up hacking into like the New York's like town square, and you just see like a giant picture of him holding like a shitload of guns in like Times Square,
And a newspaper.
right? Front page news. Oh, look what I found the other day. Found my black talons, Holmes.
Nice.
Nice.
I was looking for those the other day.
Those are scary. I'm scared. I'm triggered.
Right?
They're only scary because you're a racist.
If they were just called white talons, you'd be like, whatever. But it's because they're black talons. They're scary.
Exactly.
No, it's because they're scary. Liberals told me so.
If they were Mexican talons, then they'd be like hilarious and trying to mug you.
Nah, they'd be stuck at the border wall.
You can only buy them in front of Home Depot.
But if you magically shoot them in the ground, they somehow manage to tunnel underneath the wall and come out on the other side.
This is true.
Yeah, stealing ammunition that'll fix your house, mow your lawn, and walk your dog.
So what are you cooking up tomorrow, Flippy, or is the wife doing the cooking?
God, no. I'm not going to cook.
You gonna get takeout?
Nah, we're going over to I think we're going to her grandma's house.
Is her mom gonna be there?
Yep.
Oh,
Going with
you're
her entire family. Yeah, it's going to be a fun day.
Yeah, aren't they big Clinton fans?
Yeah. Yeah, they are. It's a good day.
I know, like that's just so awesome that you can be like, so how's Hillary's campaign going? Oh, too soon.
Nah, I'll just be like, yo, I'm amazed you all showed up. I thought you'd be out there protesting. 'Cause you guys got nothing better to do, and you're whiny losers.
I figured y'all would have gone to Canada already.
It's funny how Canada's not so like open-armed and welcoming as everyone thinks they are.
Oh, they were like,
I mean, would you want Lena Dunham up there? Hell no.
Yes, actually, I do.
Well, yeah, we do, but not.
I
like Bob.
super want her up there.
I know, I get to see that. They're like, hey, buddy, you're not coming up here.
Did you guys see that? Oh my God, what's his face? I forget. Some Canadian dude. He's a conservative guy or whatever. But he did a like guide to Canada, like for people who are gonna move up there. And he's like, oh, and
Oh, Gavin.
that part over
McInnes.
there, no one knows what's over there. No one lives there. And this part, that's where all the French live. So don't go there. They're evil and racist and blah blah blah. It's like, so basically you're talking about Toronto. No one lives in the middle, and Vancouver. So that's the only places you can go.
Did he have a beard?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
can't
Gavin.
think of
Gavin McInnes.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's-
Gavin.
He's pretty funny.
I couldn't think of his name. I like half the stuff he does. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, whatever. That's just like he tries to be too funny or whatever. It's like, yeah, I don't like that. But that one I thought was pretty good. Like,
that's
well,
like-
this middle part, it's just snow. There's no one lives there.
That's like, what's his name? The fucking, what's that guy that's always trying to be too funny? Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler hasn't been funny in years.
Like Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell, like all those douchebags.
See, Adam Sandler, the movies that I like of his are the ones where he's not going overboard. You know, like I don't like Little Nicky and Waterboy, and like when he's just like super stupid.
No, Waterboy's fucking hilarious. You're
No.
wrong.
But-
But
I think Waterboy was probably his last good funny movie. But like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison are pretty good.
I did
Yeah.
like those, but what I was saying is the ones that I've actually kind of liked more. I like Grown Ups. I think that's great, and he's not super retarded in that. And 50 First Dates for some reason, I really really like that movie.
oh,
That,
I hated that movie. That's so fucking bad.
that was a good date movie.
Oh, he was pretending to be married to this girl or something. because they got a vacation from her boss or something, and it actually was a pretty good movie too. I forget what the heck that was called.
I don't think I ever saw Little Nicky, but I have to say that based off what I've seen, Waterboy is indeed his last funny movie.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Because who's that fat guy from King and Queens?
Kevin James.
Yeah, he fucking held Grown Ups together.
You know that guy, like in real life, is a total asshole.
Probably, he's fat. Fat people are always total assholes.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, like I guess like he's like the biggest piece of shit on earth.
I will say though that a fucking special came out today that I'm like, yo, I need this in my life. This is the first one. Nah, dude, fucking, I got an email from Bo Tachi being like, yo, if you're interested, we're fucking selling Peltor Comtac 3s for like some amount of money off. How much off? Yeah, for $100 off. They're like, we're selling Peltor 3s for $100 off.
What the hell is a Peltor?
It's ear protection.
Oh,
There, here's the link to it. It's great. I need to buy like 5.
Like electronic.
Yeah, they're electronic hearing protection, but they're fucking nice.
I just rather everyone have suppressors.
yep.
Yeah, but that's literally never going to happen unless they made it illegal to own a gun without a silencer. And even then, that still's not going to happen.
So you don't think the hearing protection pass is gonna pass?
Oh no, I'm not saying it's not going to pass. I'm just saying it's never going to happen. Not everyone is going to have a silencer, dude. Some people are cheap motherfuckers. Some people just don't care. Some people bought a gun, put it in their drawer, and then forgot about it.
Yo,
Like, just because it's cheap and available to everyone doesn't mean everyone's going to take advantage of it.
do, do, do.
Well, that's on my to buy list as soon as that shit gets passed.
Dude, fucking Mankind is the greatest.
Hell yeah.
Why is man?
Because he's, I
Was
don't
that
know. It's just the
Mr.
greatest.
Sacco or something, right?
Yeah, dude, Mr. Sacco.
The Rock and Sock connection.
Dude, he's just some big fat guy in a torn up shirt with some weird, like, BDSM headdress thing running around sticking socks in people's throats.
What does BDSM stand for? Let me Google.
It's like
Hey Cortana, what is BDSM?
it's like bondage.
Yeah, I knew the
something.
bondage one. I don't know what the other ones are.
I don't know what D is.
Domination, maybe.
Dominatrix.
Yeah, bondage, domination.
Submission.
No, it's not submission. It's like
Sodomy.
that's it. Sadomasochism. Bondage.
What does Sado mean?
Yeah, I noticed. I was like, Sado. What the fuck?
It sounds like the bad guy in Karate Kid Part 2. Sato.
Sadomasochism is like you enjoy self-inflicted pain, I believe.
Isn't that what's called getting married?
Nah, it's called tax write-offs.
Ah.
Oh, okay, so it's all one word. All right, that makes me feel better. So sadomasochist is actually all one word, even though it gets two letters in the thing.
Yeah. Dude, I went in my gun shop today trying to find my wife's gun, and I went up to the dude and I'm like, yo, I need the ugliest SIG P238 you got. He's like, walked over to the SIG table and was like, this one? He like held up the rainbow one. I'm like, nope, uglier. He's like, I don't think they make one uglier than this.
Today.
And then I showed him the Robin's Egg one. He goes, oh God, they do.
Also,
I haven't
I was
seen a
watching-
Robin's Egg one.
But then he informed me that he can't get a hold of any of those. So it's like, fuck.
I was
So-
watching a special with fucking dinosaur of Tyrannosaur.
Oh, Sargon of Akkad.
Yeah, the cat and
Akkad.
and Secular Talk, and it was both of them talking back and forth. And Secular Talk was like, "Oh, I think Hillary's the lesser of two evils," and then Dinosaur of fucking Tyrannosaur was like, "Yeah, no, actually, Donald Trump is the lesser of two evils because look at everything that Hillary stands for. Look at everything that she's done. Yeah, Donald Trump is not going to do that." And then the other guy was like, "Well, Donald Trump is like bringing in the Nazi Party to work for him, like Steve Bannon and all these other guys, Jeff Sessions." He's like, "Yes," but he's like, "But here's the thing. Nobody questions Hillary. WikiLeaks, no, not looking at it. Nobody questioned anything. She has a loyal group of supporters. With Trump, we know he's bad. So we know that there's things that we have to keep an eye on and, keep tabs on. With Hillary, people would be like, la, 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 la." And he made a good point if you're on the other side. And
Well, and that's the thing with all these like anti-big business people and anti-Wall Street people. Like, how in the hell can you support Hillary? Like, there's a dude I work with who's like always, he does nothing but bitch about corporate tax rates and the rich and Wall Street and it's not fair and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, first off, dude, you realize you make decent money. Like, you're, working for an engineering firm. Like, it's not like you're a McDonald's person.
right.
And yet you're saying people who make money owe more. I'm like, I go, next time you do your taxes, just send in a couple extra $1,000 if you think that the rich people should spend. Like, if they have to pay more, just voluntarily give the government more money and send a note. Be like, here, keep it. I don't pay my fair share. Nothing's stopping you from giving them more. Knock
Exactly.
yourself out. They'll take it. Well, I was arguing with him. I'm like, how in the hell, is someone who hates Wall Street, can you support someone who fucking gets thousands and thousands or millions of dollars from Wall Street alone? What was that, like 50 grand or something for a speech, like 10-minute speech or something? I forget what the numbers are, but she got tons of money from Wall Street and all. I'm like,
What?
she's pro-war. Like, you're all like anti-war shit. She's all about going to war with people. Like, what the fuck?
Michael Jordan received the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Yeah, he didn't have the crying face either. I was a little disappointed.
So did Ellen DeGeneres, too.
What did he do though? Did he
He's
did
the
he get
internet
his
meme
freedom back from
sensation.
gravity?
He survived.
He
It's
saved
like,
the
yo,
Earth
I'm
from
free
space.
from gravity, dude. Check it out. Watch as I slam dunk.
Robert De Niro got one, too.
Oh, so it's just so it's the Presidential Medal for Hollywood. Got it.
Yep.
Dude, I don't know. All I know is people, glass houses, and shit.
Oh, dude, for sure. Yeah, Robert De Niro was like, fucking well, like, you know what I'd like to do to Donald Trump? I'd like to punch him in his fucking nose. I was like, you talk too much. You're gonna get handled. You're not Neil Macaulay anymore. Al Pacino's gonna come in and be like, oh, I beat your ass on the street. I can do it again.
Donald Trump's gonna take you out, buddy.
Right? You don't. What you fucking told?
But it's looking like I'm going to have to order that gun from Grab a Gun.
What gun you looking to get?
I'm at P238 in Robin's Egg.
Why do you want that?
Because my wife wants it, so I'm just going to get it to her for Christmas.
Wife.
What does the Robin egg one look like?
Like a light bluish, I think, right?
It's basically Tiffany blue.
Oh, you posted that the other night, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if it had like a pattern that looked like a bunch of robin's eggs on there. Because it wouldn't
Nah,
surprise
dude,
me
it's-
coming from Sig.
Dude, it's Robin's Egg or, Tiffany blue. But without calling it Tiffany blue so you couldn't get sued.
It's like Tiffany blue with one F or something. Like,
Yeah, it's like, oh no, this shade is only slightly different than Tiffany blue, so it's not Tiffany blue.
Tiffany blue.
Yeah. Nah, dude, it's to Sig blue.
Sig blue.
Hmm.
I agree with G-Webs.
What did Mr. Webbs say?
There's no proof of Flippy's wife, so I'll assume he's getting it for himself.
You know, Flippy, they do have a point.
Oh, okay. I'll get right on that.
Her name's Stacy, right?
Yeah.
That is you on Facebook, you shit.
Nope.
Hold on, I just got a text me. Don't tell them I'm not private. I'm not public on Facebook. You idiot.
I'm not on Facebook, so it's all good.
So fucking Julian Assange just leaked out Flippy's profile.
Oh, okay.
Like everyone in the world has a right to look.
Well, no one should believe him because he's a pedophile, and when are we going to fucking drone strike him from the sky?
Oh, calm down, Hillary.
Dude, I just saw this fucking thing. I thought it was great. Are you up for the challenge? Just check out the link in the side chat.
What is it?
It's a challenge, dude. It's the challenge.
I have
No,
learned
thank
long
you.
ago not to click on Flippy's links.
Yeah, I don't want to crash my phone.
Unless he specifically says what the thing is.
The
I
thing,
just said it's the challenge.
the thing saves Christmas.
No. I don't see that happening.
You don't see the thing saving Christmas?
I don't see that link saving Christmas.
Oh.
Matt, you looked at it. Are you down for the challenge?
I'm not down for that challenge.
Oh man. Ain't nothing good on TV.
ain't nothing good.
On TV.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to be right back. I have to hop into my Range Rover, headed over to some friend's house. We're going to go to Cabela's, pick up some guns.
Nice. Bring you back something neat.
Yeah, get something for me.
Bring back something for the flippy and for Smeggy. Dude, I got a label maker. It was like the worst idea ever. I'm like printing out shit like it's going out of style.
Why did you get a label maker?
Because they're so fun. I was just at Office Depot and I was like, ooh, I need this.
And so I remember picking up one when I was a kid. It was at a garage sale, but it was like the one where like you turn the top, then you squeeze the handle, and it like punches a letter. Then you turn it to like the next letter and squeeze the handle. Like it took forever to make a label, but I started putting my name on everything. You know that whole joke, like, "Hey, that's my seat. Oh, I don't see your name on it." Be like, "Bam, yeah, it is." You know, I did that one a lot because that was funny when I was 10.
Wait, is Pink trying to tell me he now owns a pink P2 380? A P2 38?
Wouldn't surprise me. Pink has all sorts of pink stuff. It's not just a name, it's a lifestyle.
God damn, I want my fucking glasses so I can go shooting.
You don't have shooting glasses?
They still haven't come in yet, dude. Like, now the USPS people are just saying, like, in transit to destination. Where yesterday it was, like, departed USPS facility.
With the padded?
Departed. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and the lazy mail people don't fucking deliver on Thanksgiving because they're fucking dirtbags. Don't want to do their job because they're lazy.
Robert Smith.
So I have to wait till hopefully Friday it shows up.
It'll show up, man.
Nah, it's never showing up.
You leave the flippy with no hope.
Flippy has nothing but hope.
And change.
Yeah, lots of that.
So all of my friends right now are like super sad because Obama's leaving.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, they're like, he's leaving. I was like, well, yeah, that's what happens.
So do you think he's ever going to close Guantanamo Bay like he said he was going to do on his first day of office 8 years ago?
No. He doesn't have the stones. I don't think he should either, dude. If anything, I think they should freaking open up another wing.
Well, I don't. Well, I'm split on that actually, but I don't necessarily think he should close it. But I just point out that it's like, I don't know. He was like, I'm gonna do that day one. It's like, oh really? That's kind of funny. It's still open. I don't know. I'm torn on it just because of the whole like.
Well, it's not from a lack of trying. He keeps trying. It's just the military won't let him. That's what he says.
The military's all like hashtag free Guantanamo detainees. How about no?
See, and that's where I am kind of torn on it because it really is like no due process and stuff. But if they're not citizens, then fuck them. But if they are citizens, like they shouldn't just get thrown and locked up with never being charged. So I don't know. Are they all non-citizens?
Supposedly, they're all non-citizens.
Well, then fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for the most part.
Which that was the other main issue with closing down Guantanamo, was that they'd have to bring up all the non-citizens that they've held forever into the States and put them in prisons here. Because they couldn't just let them go.
Right.
Oh,
and if
shit,
they
that's
like
what Obama's been doing.
deported them back to their own country, they'd go back as heroes. So it's like that's
Yeah,
not a punishment.
And then they'd go back to fucking killing good, God-fearing people. So, yeah, hopefully Trump will open up the shower wing to Guantanamo.
Yeah. Dude, if I was Trump, I would like freaking open up, like in that movie, what was it, Zero Dark 30? They were like blasting Metallica 24/7.
Oh, they can't do that anymore. Metallica came out and sued the government, going, "Yo, we don't want our music used like that."
They'll just play Easy Street.
Play some Chicago.
Dude, I'd be fucking rocking out, man. Sign me up for fucking Metallica party.
Dude, Metallica's shitty.
They are, dude. Now they are.
Well, their old school stuff though was good.
Oh,
Saint
yeah.
Anger is the worst album ever made by anyone ever.
They only had like one good song ever, just
Oh,
one.
that's not true.
It's 100% true.
Yeah, they
No,
had a
you're
couple.
wrong.
Enter Sandman, For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Nah, neither one of those were good.
Master of Puppets. Anything off Ride the Lightning. I mean, I will admit they went downhill after Black Album. Like that was their peak of awesomeness. And then, like I said, Saint Anger was one of the worst albums ever fucking written.
You didn't
And
like
fucking Stupid Face, what's that? Lars and his goddamn piccolo snare that he's like fucking having sex with every day or some shit. That was annoying as shit. But then Death Magnetic, they went back and it's not as bad. It's still not as good as their other stuff, but it's definitely way better.
You don't like fucking Garage Inc? Garage Inc was pretty good, dude. Worst album though.
Yeah, no, Garage Inc. was okay.
I like
The
that song.
only
The worst Metallica album, still better than the best Nickelback album.
No.
Those pants fall off. Nickelback is guaranteed to come home with you.
I am
Best
unaware
Metallica
of this
album
magic
isn't-
power. Are you telling me I need some Nickelback CDs?
Probably because there's no guys around when they listen to Nickelback.
The best fucking Metallica album can't hold a candle to the worst Nickelback album.
Still, it
Yeah,
makes the
Nickelback
pants fall
still
off.
sucks.
Girls are like, "Oh my god, Nickelback," and Nickelback is like, "Freaking." All that shit sounds the same, dude. Anything from that era, like Creed, Pearl Jam,
Nickelback is just standing over there being like, "We're trying to still sound like Creed, so hold on."
It's like Linkin Park. They all sound the same.
Chevelle, Shinedown,
Nah, dude, Chevelle's
all
pretty
that
good.
like. It's all like freaking. He was a wise man doing what a girl.
Yeah,
does- it
again,
does-
Chevelle doesn't sound like that, but
It
Chevelle's
does kind of
good.
sound like, the South Park. Every time they rock out, it sounds
Yeah.
kind of like
They do.
Nickelback.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that song that was like staring down the barrel of a 45?
That was Creed.
You sure?
Yeah. Cause I'm
think it
staring
was-
down the barrel of a 45. Something, live or die.
Staring down the
Still
barrel.
need
of
a
Desert Eagle.
reason.
Oh my
I like
god.
the other one, dude. Like staring down the barrel of a Desert Eagle.
If
Well, I
I
mean-
ever meet you in person, Flippy, we're going to a karaoke bar.
Okay.
Right?
That'd be magic. Dude, I don't give a fuck. I'm all about that shit. I'll stand up there and put all those little Korean people to shame.
Like, oh, you're really good.
Oh, you good at karaoke. You sing long time.
You gotta wear the panda suit though.
Oh, they
That's
would
how
love
know
you.
that I am their god.
That's true.
We sacrifice giant panda to karaoke gods.
They'll
Now,
just
for-
start bringing out naked women covered in sushi. Like, we must appease the panda man.
Dude, that's actually
Sing
sounds
us the
really
song, Mr. Panda Man. Sing us the song tonight.
God damn it.
Yeah, that's now stuck in my head, but like the actual song.
Yeah, the fucking
Not with the
piano
accent.
man.
Sing us a song, you panda man.
You would get up there and like do like
Song
freaking
indeed.
Tonight. Cause we're all in the mood for an ugly cig.
Cause we're just feeling
Like-
alright. La la
You
la
would like-
la la
It would like
la la la
remix,
la
like,
la la. I'm done.
You would like fucking remix like Tupac. You'd be like, "Come with me, Hail Flippy, run with ease. We got panda suits on. We're gonna ride tonight. Snickers Glocks going fly die die."
Damn, now I'm never going to be able to listen to that Billy Joel song.
This is the millennium of Aftermath. So give Flippy one more platinum plaque.
Guys, I think we did it. I think we just wrote the fucking like theme to gun channels now.
Give Flippy one more tier 1 Glock and fuck it, you can have it back.
I'm just gonna start throwing Flippy in all the songs now.
Then you got to change the name of your show from Hit or Miss to just Hit and Hit.
Did it?
Hit
Yeah,
and bigger hit.
hit me in the face because there's way too much Flippy.
Never enough Flippy. That's what Matt's
Flippy's
changing
got
his
it.
channel to next.
Yeah, did you ever get a
Flippy's got
good
it.
apology from on that? On you
I-
calling the
well, I kind
election 100%?
No, I never got the apology. I got kind of an episode, and then that was it. And then Hit or Miss was like, nah, we're not putting that dude on.
Oh, for sure.
Despite the fact that they were one of the people who were like, yo, because I remember very specifically Night Strikes being like, yo, if Trump wins and you're right, we'll put you on our show. You can have a Flippy is right special. I'm like, I'll hold you up on that.
Well, he
Never
doesn't
held him
have-
up on it.
He doesn't have a controlling stake. It has to go to a vote.
I forgot, did Night Strike like
Trump? Yeah.
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 Well, I think he was anti-Hillary. I don't know that he liked Trump.
Well, he's
But I don't wanna speak
anti-Hillary
to him.
and pro-gun, so that only leaves one candidate.
Yep. I mean, you had like freaking Mitt Romney's like reincarnated liberal version, Gary Johnson.
I don't know what the fuck happened to Gary. I really don't, man. Too much weed or something. Because he was a lot better in the past, and he just dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah. I also don't see Gary Johnson out there creating his own Second Amendment foundation in support of the Second Amendment.
Yeah, no, our hope is for Austin Peterson if we want good Second Amendment stuff next time.
Yeah, but Austin Peterson doesn't have the name recognition, so it's be Gary Johnson. Gary Useless, where the fuck is Aleppo Johnson going again?
I don't think so. 3 times in a row, I think they'll give it to someone
Yeah,
else.
no, they're going to keep giving it to him, dude. He's the only one with name recognition. No one knows. Like, yeah, sure, he's useless and dumb, but people at least know him because he's useless and dumb. No one knows who the fuck Austin Peterson is.
Well, you gotta get that name recognition out there. But I think Gary's got a good platform to stand on with his governor stuff. Because when you look at the history, I mean, he can honestly say, like, I vetoed more spending bills than anyone else. Like, I balanced the budget by cutting spending and cutting taxes. Like, he did good at the state level. And
Yeah,
so
he's also
that's what converts, you know, the conservative libertarians, because they're like, yeah, we like that kind of shit.
he's also super anti-gun.
He's not anti-gun. He's just not pro-gun.
Right. Because I don't see a lot of pro-gun people throwing guns away and hiring fucking VPs who are going out there and saying, no one needs an AR-15. That weapon's too dangerous for normal people to use.
I
You
don't.
know what? You know what Gary Johnson was? Well, Mr. Buster, where the fuck you at? Because you touched the gas.
Yeah, Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. You're like fucking popping off like a crazy person right now. I don't know what to tell you, friend. I don't understand a single goddamn word.
Does not compute. Does not compute.
Rifle a lot when I was a kid. Like my buddy and I would fucking like battle. Fun. Oh, did you see DD's new movie, DD versus Bigfoot?
Unless there's an epic rap battle, I'm not interested.
Rap battle of history. Harley Cyrus versus Go to work.
Dude, did you see their fucking Trump Hillary one? Oh my god, that was horrible. It was so pro Hillary. It was ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it's tech stuff. They make videos on YouTube. All those guys are pretty. That's what, dude. Like I keep saying it, but it's so true, dude. Anybody who's like super tech savvy tends to be progressive.
That's not true. There's a
For the
huge.
majority.
Well, I don't know. 'Cause there's a big bunch of gun guys that are a bunch of nerds too. Like it's a thing.
Yeah, they may build computers, but they're not out there making like shit tons of like epic videos that get massive followers.
Well, there's that
Right.
one dude who's fat as fuck who used to work for Microsoft who makes his own videos now. And then his friend, Jay's 2 Cents, both of them are pro-gun.
Yeah, I was disappointed in the epic rap battle because when they did Romney versus Obama, like they smacked them down both pretty good. You know, and that's I still love that line, like by the power invested me of this giant bird, the president should not be picked of the best of the two giant turds. I know I messed it up, but it was something like that. Or the shiniest of two turds.
Giant bird.
So that was pretty good. But the Trump Hillary one was Hillary ripping on Trump, and then all of Trump's lines were like, "Yeah, I hate women, but whatever." And well, like it was all like the same, like Trump's whole verse was ripping on Trump. It's like, really? You didn't even give him a chance.
Dude, Stephen Colbert is like waging war on Trump. I didn't know that guy was such a freaking progressive.
Yeah, he only played a
Know that?
No.
You didn't see when Obama won, and he was on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and they were all crying because they're like, "Oh, it's so beautiful."
A black man is beautiful.
I wish people were elected not on their gender or race, but on their policy.
They were. Trump was elected on his policy and not his gender or race.
Yeah, but Hillary was elected on her gender.
Hillary wasn't elected.
I mean, like she was campaigning on her gender.
Yeah, and she
And
lost.
that's what Saruman of a dance car was saying. He was saying that like Hillary just repeated.
Sargon of Akkad.
Yeah, he's like Hillary was just repeating the same old anecdotes of evidence. and like that she was just pretty much spouting out the same cliche like women's rights and gay rights.
Trump talked a bit about gay rights.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's all Hillary's campaign.
The gays'
Yeah.
right to protect themselves.
Hell,
But it's
Hillary
like-
wasn't even pro-gay until it became convenient for her.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
plenty of videos of Hillary being anti-gay as a motherfucker. There's plenty of videos
Yeah.
of Hillary being anti-black as a motherfucker. I
I
was
know,
a
dude,
Goldwater
and, like,
girl, and I'm proud of that.
I sent all those videos to my friends that deleted me, and I said, "Well, there you go." And they're all, "Well, that was old."
Yeah, so
Like, oh,
you know how there's all these videos out of Trump talking shit about the homos? There aren't? Huh. What about all the ones where Trump's talking shit about the black people? There's also not. There's just an old ass case where they tried to fucking sue him for racism and it didn't go through. And he was found not guilty or whatever. Yeah, you're right. Most racist dude ever.
the only reason that they pegged Trump as racist is because when he said that like Mexico is not sending us their best, and also
Well, there's that.
one about the Muslims.
Yeah, the other funny bit is they think Muslims and Mexicans are a race. Which neither
it's
one of
just-
those.
Anybody could be a Muslim.
Yeah, they're like, dude, Trump is racist. How? He hates the Muslims and the Mexicans. All right, I'm not going to argue the point about him hating Mexicans and Muslims, but you're aware both those are not a race. So by definition, he can't be racist if he's hating groups that aren't a race. Oh, tomorrow's going to be fun.
Oh shit, dude! There's a bunch of police cars out here.
Pull your gun out.
Yeah.
Like, don't mind me, officer. I'm just going to Cabela's. You can see my gun. Actually, you should have brought your M249 with you. And be like, no, officers, I got a badge here. I want to see my badge. And pull a fucking DMX.
I'm a federal agent.
I'm a federal agent. I got this badge.
I'm here to help the people of the world. I'm a federal agent when the dogs bark with the saw.
Yeah, I love DMX. I found out the other day he's not dead, and I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, but he's upgraded to meth from cocaine.
Oh, yeah, he'll be dead soon then.
Or maybe he'll live forever like fucking
All-
Charlie Sheen.
All the coke gave him superpowers now. Now the meth and the coke is mixing. It's like, turns out that's how eternal life is found.
We will build them
That was-
stronger.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go grub. I will talk to you all later.
Better be Chipotle.
Mm-hmm.
See ya. No, unfortunately, my friend's barbecuing.
Oh.
Oh, have him barbecue you a burrito.
I know that'd be awesome.
You'd be like,
All
here,
right, guys.
here, just whip down a
pendejo.
later. Just whip down like a burrito bowl and be like, yo, barbecue this shit.
Right. All right, y'all.
Take care, sir.
And yes, DF2 dot. Apparently, it is racist to question things, and it's racist to ask people where they're from.
And it's racist to tell white women, "Are you going to leave the country like you promised?"
Yeah, it's racist to hold people up to a
To their
I
word.
don't know a standard that's like what people used to do. Yeah,
How dare you hold me to my word? That is
you're a
beta.
sexist, bigoted racist,
Yeah. I was
and
gonna
you're a
say,
liar.
Yeah, my daughter don't like liars.
Let him burn.
Hey, no scope. Are you there? Maybe he's taking his scope off.
Nah, he's putting it back on. He's trying to change his name.
I remember I used to play. I think it was like Halo 1 or 2, whatever. But after I killed somebody, I would always yell on the mic, "No scope!" And then when I shot him from a scope, I say, "Get scoped!" And dude, just make them all furious and shit.
Yeah, best is just yelling 1v1 me after every kill.
Well, that wasn't invented until like Call of Duty 30 or whatever.
Nah, dude, that shit was like, that was straight up Halo 2 was like the 1v1 me
Oh, really?
fucking game. Oh yeah, it was. Online, dude, every time you'd fucking pop a dude and you'd be like, "Hey, you suck." He'd be like, "1v1 me, fag. You ain't good. You ain't got it."
Yeah. I remember the was that the one that came out with like the plasma sword?
Yeah.
That thing was way OP, but it's like if you gotten within like 5 feet of somebody, they were dead.
Dude, that that fucking sword also was like a homing rocket launcher, dude. You would just swing at someone and just fly across the map and kill them.
Yup. That's what I was talking about. It's kind of like the bayonet charge on Battlefield 1.
Yeah, except for like, you don't fucking run out of stamina halfway through your charge.
Yeah.
When you're like,
your guy doesn't go.
Dude.
Your guy doesn't go.
I'm out of breath now. Hi. I get popped in the forehead by a PO8.
The absence of body armor has made me run slower.
Yeah, but I could run around all day with a fucking LMG on my ass. No big though.
Yeah, that's what's stupid. You could sprint forever, but if you bayonet charge, you get about 5 seconds.
That's because 1, you're sprinting. 2, you're bayonet charging. You're going much faster.
Don't be logical.
Nah, dude. It's impossible.
That's racist to bring logic in here. Like, move the fucking train. You're the worst conductor ever, even though you brought it back from a fucking negative 200-point score.
Yeah, I single-handedly won us the game from the train. They're like, "You're fucking bad. You're a piece of shit. Move the train forward. You're just trying to steal all the kills." That was the fun. The dude at the end, though, was like, straight up like, "Yo, that train, though, actually won us the game."
Yeah. One v one me, forget.
Yeah, 1v1 me in the train, faggot. Knives only. Fucking handguns only. That was the thing in Halo 2. It was straight up like 1v1 me, faggot, pistols only.
Yeah, and then the dude would use his main weapon and be like, "Fuck you.
Fuck you, you suck. You're bad."
Dude, and the shotgun on that thing was fucking awesome, though.
Yeah, dude. Oh, the fucking, like, bonus maps, though, like, the DLC maps were the greatest. Like, there was that snowy map with the 2 fucking bases and the Goss Warthog in the middle. It was great.
Dude, I always like Blood Gulch, and then there's like, wasn't there like Beaver Creek or something like that?
Yeah, Beaver Creek, Battle Creek.
Yeah, that one was pretty fun too.
I think they call it Spartan Creek in the new one.
What was the one where you're on like a big old spaceship, and there's like a gap in the middle, and you could just like fire across the fucking gap of the ship? That one was a pretty good map.
Is it Ascension?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, actually.
If you would have asked me that like 8 years ago, I could have told you.
Right? Yeah, I think that, dude, I haven't played in like 15 years probably.
Yeah, Halo 1. We used to play Halo 1 pistols on Hang 'em High.
Yeah, that was it. That was the fucking, like, 1v1 me, bro, place.
Yep.
Did you guys ever learn the super jumps on that?
So
The
where you
super
like
bounce or
shot the
whatever?
rocket launcher, shot you up.
No, that if you like jump from a certain spot onto a certain mark, it was like a crack in the floor, it'd fucking super jump you like 150 feet up.
No, I don't
They're like
remember
little Easter eggs. I think it was Halo 2 for that one.
Yeah, there was grenade jumping, too, which was a big pain in the ass. And if you fuck it up, you die.
I always loved to fucking plasma sword somebody off the side of the map.
What was great though was when you got your rocket launcher and the plasma sword, and then you would just fire the rocket and switch to the plasma sword. Now, if you do that fast enough, you turn into the homing rocket.
You know, it's another good shit talking game is Smash Bros.
Yeah. Dude, that was the game that you would fucking beat the shit out of your best friend over.
Yeah, you'll lose friendships from that one.
Mm-hmm. I remember way back when fucking Blockbuster had like a video game section where they had like 5 TVs set up with like one, like each console. Like one TV had the N64, and there's the PlayStation, all that shit. Fucking, I came in one day, was like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, oh, it's a Pikachu. So I like sat down, like, what weird Pokemon game is this? Played it for like 2 hours, and I'm like, all right, I need this game. It was that fucking Smash Brothers.
Yeah, dude. I always like when they would like it'd be their last little sliver of health, and you just fucking blow them off the side of the map.
Or when you would be Donkey Kong and you'd Ali Akbar.
And they just go psh, ding, because they turn into a star.
Yeah, like the greatest is like you have like 2 lives left, they have their 1 left, and you're Donkey Kong, you just pick them up and you just jump off the cliff. It was like the gayest fucking move, but like it won games. Yeah, dude, I would not buy an AR-styled shotgun.
It's only $400, man.
Yeah, I'm not about that life.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, that is tempting. Just as one of those like novelty guns. But if it broke, I would not try to fix it. I would just fucking I'd
That
shoot it
gun's
with
getting
my other
thrown in
better
the
guns.
fucking trash.
Yeah, I would just shoot it with my other good guns.
I guess today is the anniversary of the end of Prohibition.
Woo woo.
Poor old Jack Daniels out.
I love how I think it's Jack Daniels is made in a dry county.
Yeah,
Dude.
it's Jack Daniels.
Yeah. So people like you have to like have you seen there's like one town with like the county markers like painted through the city?
No.
I want to say it's somewhere down there where Jack Daniels is made, and like the county marker goes through this bar, so you can sit on one side of the bar and drink, and the other side you can't. I saw it on like Modern Marvels about beer or something, maybe.
So what? There's just like fucking a police officer in that bar at like all times, just watching for someone to walk across the line and drink.
Well, they would lose that bar specifically would lose their liquor license if somebody caught them. But I don't know, man. It's like this reservation I went up to in Yakima. It's a dry res because all the firewater people love it. So you just you just leave the res, get your fucking 30 rack of beer and go back on it. Yeah, I gotta go, guys, though.
Alright, later. La 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 la. Yeah, I want a Sega. Hopefully Trump will bring those back into the country. And then they'll drop in price.
Yeah, when I was at the gun show, a guy was selling East German AK-74 Bakelite magazine for like $70.
East German? It's not a bad price.
Yeah. I'm waiting for them Russians to come back in now. I only have 2 Bakelites. I want more.
Oh, for literally an hour, fucking SG Ammo had like, I think a crate of them come in, and they were selling them for like $32 a piece, and they sold out like in an hour.
I think that's who I bought my 2 from. I think they were around the same. They might have been like $28, but this was 2 years ago. Then I almost bought a smoothback AK magazine. It was like a Chinese AK magazine, and they wanted $28 for it, and I wasn't sure if that was a good price or not, so I passed. And then G Webs was like, "Yeah, that's a decent price for one." I was like, "Well, fuck, I can't go back now."
And I went upstairs. Next thing you know, I'm chopping apples and running out to get pizza. And
Yeah. I just find it's easier just to tell people to go to hell.
You go to
It's even
hell.
better when they're like,
that would
You go to hell when you die.
my wife. When my wife's like, "Yo, you need to get off the computer and talk to these people," it's like, "No, I don't. They can go to hell." It's like, "But they're your family, so." I spend enough time with them. I don't need to know they still exist. It's all good.
Yeah, it's like, I don't need to know that my gun's anti-gun. Fans anti-gun. I already know that.
Oh no, my family on my side, they're not anti-gun. My grandma is kind of. My grandma doesn't care, but she got her college scholarship through shooting. My uncle
That's
fucking.
cool.
My uncle loves guns. Yeah, she went to high school in California and got a scholarship there or a scholarship for being on the shooting team, which is even funnier. But
Yeah, California.
yeah, my uncle isn't he's not against guns. I helped him buy his first set of guns. Go shooting quite often. My other uncle and aunt, though, I have no idea, dude. They're all about fucking Obama and liberalism and being weirdos. It's
Yeah,
my
that's how my
wife's side that
sister and my
they're all
mom
like
are.
anti-gun.
Like, my sister and my mom think Trump's like the Antichrist.
Yeah, dude, that's what tomorrow's going to be. I'm excited.
Yeah, they're actually having dinner with my sister's fiance's family, and I think they're all Trump. They're like pro-Trump, and they're pro-Hillary. So, kind of sad. I'm gonna miss those fireworks.
Oh no, dude, you should go and be like, just as soon as you walk in, be like, Trump train.
Trump's gonna make America great again. Goodbye.
Yeah, just kind of like, yo, I brought the mashed potatoes. Trump already made them great again.
It's like, who wants to jump on the Trump gravy train? I do.
Ooh. Look at that beautiful orange turkey. It reminds me of my president. You hear how I said that? My president. He may not be your president, but he's my president.
Maybe next year you can be like, you know what that orange turkey reminds me of? Hillary Clinton's jumpsuit. Your president.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's no one's president.
Wannabe.
But like, you just slightly lift your jacket to the side, you pull out your red Make America Great Again hat and just put it on. Just sit there with the biggest shit-eating grin.
Did you see the SNL with
Yeah,
Dave Chappelle? He's like, you know, you're black, right? He's
Not
like,
when
"Not
I'm
according
wearing
to
this hat.
He's like,
Trump's
"Oh,
America
Trump's
now,
America."
bitch.
Yeah. Negan, you don't look like a Negan. You look more like a Stefan.
Oh God. What do you want? Money? Sex? It's always sex with you people. I bet it's sex. Please, I got a wife. I got kids. I don't know. Oh God.
Yeah, that skit and with him and Chris Rock, and they're like, "This is the worst. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to America." And they just look at each other like, "Oh, really? The worst thing ever, huh?" It's like, I don't understand. How could Hillary not win? It's like, well, maybe because you're trying to replace a 40-year-old charismatic black man with a 70-year-old white woman.
I'm going to get the Xanax from the. I'm going to the bathroom to get the Xanax.
Yeah.
Bring the bottle.
I like the line where they're like, wow, maybe America is racist. And he's like, I think I remember my great grandpa telling me about that. But what does he know? He was just a slave.
Yeah.
So, G-Wubs, you hate shotguns?
That's one specifically that they're talking about.
Oh, the AR shotgun? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those. They feel like big airsoft gun with a little shotgun inside of them.
Yeah, I want a Sega shotgun.
Was that like a Sega?
Yeah, that's what I said. Sega. Although I would want mine converted into being a real Sega and not like the lame Sega.
What's the real one versus the lame one? I'm not very familiar.
Well, it's got the hand grip thingy, and the trigger group is moved forward.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Because, yeah, they bring them in with, like, that weird stock or whatever where they have to move the trigger back.
Yeah, they come in not converted, and you got to get them converted.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I would want a regular pistol grip and, like, all that stuff.
Yeah, and hopefully in Trump's America, we can chop down those barrels to where they need to be, and not where we're told they have to be.
Yeah, they come in their sporting configuration.
I reject those ideals. Also, is Blackheart AKs any good? I don't think I know of anyone who has bought one yet.
I've never heard of them.
Never heard of them.
So that doesn't mean they're necessarily bad. They could just be like a small little builder or something.
Yeah, maybe. I thought I saw someone was like doing something about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen anything on them.
I mean, somebody who got paid by them or got a free gun from them to talk great about them did something about them.
No, someone on gun channels was like buying one and was going to be like, yeah, now I'll tell you how great it is. And then I never
What's
heard
that?
from him again.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah. Blackheart AKs. Or Blackheart Firearms. Manufacturers of premium AKs and AR-15 rifles for the U.S. civilian market.
Yep.
Yep.
I need more guns.
How much would you pay for 745 pounds of Sprint 40 cal brass?
Nothing,
Me
because I don't.
personally, nothing, because I
No.
don't care about 40s.
So your caliber hatred, and
Yeah.
your caliber denial. Was
I'm a caliber
from a good 745 pounds of brass going for $80. Seems like a deal.
Nah, I'm not interested. I don't even reload. Why the fuck would I even care?
Because you could try to turn that on for like 300.
Even if I fucking liked reloading or did it, I don't own a 40. I own good guns.
How many pounds did you say it was?
745, I think.
All right, let's see here. So 745. They say that there's 104 cases per pound. So that's like 77,000 cases. I don't know. How much do people pay per case?
La 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 la.
Oh shit. What did I say? It was 77,480. Okay. 77. Yeah, I don't know. It's That's what I gotta figure out. How much like per case? 40 cal brass. Okay, so you can get them for like 3 cents a case, at least from this one place. So that'd be $2,000 worth of brass.
$2,000 for $82. I think I might get it on this. Thanks. So that's a rough estimate. $2,000 worth of brass right there.
Yeah.
So I could probably buy that for $86, and then take it someplace, sell it, just offload it for $1,000. I might do
Yeah,
that.
because
Actually.
like I said, there's at least according to what this thing says, there's 104 cases per pound. So you take the pounds times that tells you how many cases, then multiply that by 3 cents.
Cool.
Dude, give it to Foos for like $500. You're still making money, you know.
It's one of those. I'm thinking pick it up from the place that's selling it and drag it over to whoever will buy it, and then profit.
Doesn't BE actually reload 40?
Ballistic?
Yeah.
He couldn't handle 745 pounds of it though.
I wonder what brass per pound. Like, I wonder if that's like scrap price or something. Like what? Like you might even be able to just like melt it down and make money off it.
Well, it's an auction, so it's just dumbass country giving away their stupid shit for nothing. But it's an auction. That's what it happens to be at right now. It's got a few hours, so I'll probably put a bid in on it if it's that much of a price.
Well, that's what I'm. Let me figure out what.
You're saying the price will be different because of the primers? Yeah, there's going to be some amount of weight of primers in a 55-gallon drum of cartridges, but if I can get it for less than $100.
Well, even still, let's say there's 100 cases per pound instead of 104. That's still, freaking 77,000 cases.
Even if I got to go rent a pickup to pick it up, I go rent a pickup at U-Haul for like $20 a day, I think. I'm not sure if they charge for mileage, but either way.
Why is there not? Seriously, there's no brass prices on here? What the fuck?
Well, weak-ass source are you looking at?
I don't know, some scrap metal place. Like, I'm thinking, like I said, I'm trying to find, like, if it wasn't, like, if they weren't even usable and they're all smashed up, would it still be a good price? It might even be. Yellow brass scrap price. Let's see. What does that say?
I think U-Haul, if you stay in town, they don't charge you by the mileage. You just pay the flat rate and whatever gas you got to put back in it.
That's what I was kind of thinking too.
Right.
Yeah, Robbie over there in chat saying $1.06 a pound.
Oh, this one says $1.28. So either way though, you're looking at
Well, that's 700 pounds. So that's
you're
700
looking at almost $800 worth of scrap price.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad I said something. I'm gonna fucking see if I can't tag this, and then I'll just put a bid in it, I guess, and then just buy it. I have to just drive up to where it's at, somewhere in Arizona, and then drive it over to the closest scrap place.
$1.06. Yeah, I mean that's even if it's $1.06 per pound scrap metal, that's $789 worth of scrap. That was like, dude, actually we did a project in a recycling plant. They had some problems with their like air filtering things or whatever. And so we're in there and it's really cool. Like the whole plant is all like automated. Like the only thing people do is drive around in like front end loaders, like scooping shit up and dumping it in the certain hoppers. And then like shredded metal comes out sorted like on the other end. Like they're all on different conveyor belts and shit. It's neat. But anyways, I walked past this like crate, it's like a pallet with like sides up on it, and it was just filled with fucking brass cases. And I'm like, oh my God, you have no idea how bad I want to just like shove my pockets full of this shit. Like they're gonna cut this up and melt it down and shit. Like, no, don't do that. Reuse it. It was, I mean, seriously, that was like the holy mecca of reloading stuff. I should have got in with them more. Be like, hey man, like you guys get the stuff in for scrap where you're getting $1.06 per pound that you're paying out or whatever. I'll buy it from you for $2 a pound or something, and then do the reloading stuff. Oh, and by the way, save all your lead for me too. Like that's what you need to do. If you're a reloader, you got to hook up with the fucking local scrap metal guy. Get some good prices on stuff. But that was a one-time thing. They didn't like our answer. Because they were like, our stuff's messed up. What's wrong? So we went and we measured everything and we said, well, this, and this. Like, you guys are all fucked up. And they're like, oh, that's a lot of stuff to fix. Thanks. They weren't very happy. It's like, sorry, dude, it's not our fault. Their shit sucks, man. Like, you're not good. It's like they didn't do maintenance on any of their things, and then they wonder why it's not working. Well, it's all clogged up with shit. So they had like they did not have the correct airflow at all. So this stuff was chopping it up and sorting it and all this stuff. And it was going on vibration tables to like help sort it and all. It's actually really cool how like all the stuff they do. But anyways, like it was just throwing like dust up into the air like everywhere. And it's like, I think that's why there's no people actually work inside the building. Because you don't want to be breathing that shit in all day. We were there for 2 days and I was like, oh shit, I want to be coughing up like black shit or something.
Gotta get the black lung.
It's $200 more than mine sold for, I think.
Oh, well, I would have bought yours, but I don't think I was a member of Gun Channels when you were selling it.
Plus your hate.
I hate of what?
Freedom.
Things that are good and freedom.
Oh, okay. How much would it cost me to get this finished out?
Couple hundred, I guess.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
You make it look like a Tromix? Take it to Tromix? I don't know. Ask Tony. I think he might have told us in that video. I don't pay attention to prices because I don't ever do anything.
Because like it looks like majority of this shit's done. All that would really need to be left is just moving the trigger group or riveting the trigger group back onto the right spot.
What are you talking about? Just turning it into an AK or what?
Yeah, turning it into an AK.
So you got to remove the hand guard. You got to put some kind of stop on there. You probably got to get a new front sight or front gas block, and then you need a front sight post. Then you need to get the trigger group. This doesn't even have a mag catch on it. It's got the old-fashioned one, so you need a mag catch, and then a new trigger group, and then a new trigger guard, and then you got to fill up those holes, and you can either put rivets in there and have extra rivets looking stupid, or have somebody who knows what they're doing weld them back up, finish it all off. So that means you're painting it. Then you got to buy your furniture. So it's the gun, and that's it. You can start from there and put all that stuff on it, and then throw away those stupid mags that are stupid.
Honestly, I'd probably just leave the handguard the way it is, 'cause I actually like that handguard.
So then nothing. You just put a trigger in it.
Basically, just
drive
put it,
around.
get the trigger group riveted back in, and then slap a U.S. palm grip on it, and be happy days, I guess. I'll just see if the dude will trade out a gun for it. And then I'll throw money at it to get it all done.
I'm not a fan of them. I owned a couple of them, and they were stupid. And they just sat around being lame. So I finally sold them. And they didn't even bring in money because they're so stupid. Nobody wants them. Unless you just want to own it for spite.
Spite of what?
Just to defy people who think that shouldn't exist.
I want to own it because it's cool.
No, that's the problem. It's like the opposite of cool. If there's like cool, and then there's like a guy with his pants up too high who's like not paying attention, that's that Sega.
I don't get it. How is it not cool?
Because he's got his pants up too high and it's not paying attention. It's just sitting there being an idiot, sitting on the bleachers. Full square, L7. The squarest of all shotguns. The shotguns are the squarest of all guns. That makes it almost the worst gun ever.
Nah, shotguns are fun.
Worst part about a Sega is it's oblivious. It thinks it's an AK. So it's always running around hanging out like if it's an AK, but it ain't no AK. It's a freaking shotgun.
So it's confused?
Yeah. It exists. It's like Frankenstein monster of AKs. Like somebody put it together, so technically it does exist, but it shouldn't have never existed. And everybody's too humane to put it out of its misery, I guess.
Nah, dude, that thing's the greatest. I can take it hunting and all that shit.
Hunting for what? Lame?
Hunting for deer, I guess. I can put a fucking
Troll
10
gun
round.
shot.
I can
Lame.
put a 30 round magazine in that,
Oh wow.
and then just like
30 round magazine? Really?
yeah,
Like
to kill a deer.
30 round 12 gauge magazine?
Yeah,
A drum magazine?
yeah,
That'd be fun.
it will be fun.
You should have like a wheelbarrow or one of those like, you know, like old people with hip conditions. They carry around those little like stools with wheels on them. You can have
Oh,
one
a walker?
around the little walker with wheels on it. So whenever you get somewhere, you can rest on it and just lean forward onto it. You can have one of them for your mag and your shotgun.
I feel like you have a lot of hate for it, and I don't understand why.
Get one. You'll experience them. Because they're horrible things that just take up space in the safe and they scratch everything. And then they don't bring in any money when you get rid of them.
So it's just bitter.
No. I owned it. I went out and seeked it out and bought it. So it's betrayal and bitterness.
I think they're kind of neat too, just for the hell of it.
Oh, come on. Why don't you just get one of them and then your AR shotgun? Trifecta.
Because there's no place for me to put an L-can on that AR shotgun. There's a place for an L-can on that.
That's we know you're being ridiculous. That was the run step over the line right there. Plus, it's probably like two magnets trying to hump each other. They're just like, as soon as you get close to them, they just wiggle themselves out of the way because they're like the wrong kind of lame trying to get attached to each other.
I wonder if an EOTech would work out on it.
You try it though. Duct tape it on there. It'll just kind of always hover.
What? The L-can? It'll just hover over it?
Yeah, like if you had two magnets that didn't want to stick together because you're just shoving them together the wrong side, and then you just duct taped them so that they were like the magnetic waves keeping them apart. You never done that?
Nope.
No, that's the kind of person that buys a Sega.
Just all this unfounded hate in the Sega. And the L-can, dude. I don't know. I feel like I should get it, hook an L-can to it, and then put one of those like gun channel stickers on it.
And then only shoot Oath ammo through it.
Oath ammo?
Yeah, the big copper ammo everybody hates now. Because you're only buying things that are proven lame. And then like a bungee sling. Not a paracord sling, but a bungee cord sling. Best idea ever.
Nah, paracord sling would be more lame than a bungee sling.
No, I mean an actual bungee cord. Just with like attached to your shotgun.
The bungee cord would be super tactical. I mean, because it would stretch out. It would keep that tension going. So
yeah, like if you had to jump down and do some kind of operation, you could just attach your shotgun to something and then bounce down and bounce right back up.
I think a shoelace will work too.
I kind of want to get one now.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, that makes me not want to get one, but
it's like an AA-12, but actually obtainable.
No, AA-12 is awesome, and it's probably the only shotgun that's even worth considering because it's such a cool, unique thing. You guys are seriously, go fiddle with one. They're stupid as hell. Like, go fiddle with one, and be sure to fiddle with the magazine. They're never going to hand it to you with the magazine because they don't want you to see how giant their stupid-ass, obnoxious magazines are. But grab one of them magazines and fiddle with it. Try wrapping your hands around it and then inserting it and stuff. See how delicate, stupid latch is on it. See how plastic every single magazine made is for it. And then tell me how awesome that gun is after all that. And then buy it right after that. Spend a bunch of money on it. You'll feel bad. Do you have shops where you can fiddle with one?
I've never seen one in the wild.
Only occasionally see one at like a gun show.
Well, that's why I suspect you still think they're a good idea. Only a good idea in pictures and on paper. I probably still have mags for him. If you want to buy my mags off me, that's only preparing you for when you get yours. And then if it happens and you go, oh, this is the most obnoxious brittle, stupid magazine I've ever seen that's overpriced. Then you can go, why would I want to buy a gun to attach this to? Then you'll have saved money in the long run.
I don't know if I agree with that. I bought a MP5K, and those magazines are like $80 a piece.
9mm double stack mag that's been around since the 80s in use by multiple law enforcement and military.
Yeah, it's still $80 a piece.
Oh, okay. That's the same as a garbage novelty plastic magazine made out of fragile plastic without a piece of metal in it, except maybe the spring made out of Zamek or something. Yeah, that's the same. For a novelty commercial gun bastard gun doesn't even exist, except for a bunch of Russians were like, oh, Americans will buy this. Watch. Blow the pipe on here.
Yeah, but it's a police shotgun.
No, not. Only the stupid commercials make it seem like their police use them. They don't really. It's like saying an M79 is a police shotgun here. Like, just because one police station might have bought one in 1960 doesn't make it a police shotgun. I didn't realize you guys were so steadfast on them.
I think it's cool. I think I should own one.
All right. Don't say when you had it for like 5 minutes and you're like, oh, this thing's garbage. You can't be like, wish somebody would have told me about it. That's how lame they are.
I mean, I don't know. You told me that this revolver was great. But I'm just kind of like, revolvers are boring.
What revolver?
What is this? PD 360 or whatever?
Oh, you mean the one that's lighter weight than the one I sold as soon as I could get a better one? I didn't remember saying it was great. I remember saying it was worth the money you paid for it.
Yeah. I mean, just revolvers kind of suck in general. This didn't make me love revolvers.
So what you're really gonna like is the fake ass Kalashnikov. That's so much more legit than a revolver.
It is, because it's a real Kalashnikov. It has it like written on the side, real Kalashnikov.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's in Sharpie doesn't mean it's not there.
What if they took them railroad tracks that they put down for like, what do they call them? Trolleys, and then they magnetized that rail, even just one of them, although both would be better. And then you get a skateboard with magnets on it, and then you could hoverboard over that rail whenever there's a cable car right there, or a trolley right there.
I was clicking on videos and accidentally ran into one of yours. I didn't know you owned Guns Shoot 6.
What?
Oh, because this is you.
No, that's probably just somebody stealing my shit. Fucker. It takes me more time to whatever you call it than it does for them to fucking steal it. Asshole YouTube.
But yeah, what if I want to breach a door? And it's like, well, I can't do that. And it's like, wait, no, I can, because I have this Sega 12.
How many fucking views does that one have?
12,000.
Dude, you should totally fucking copyright claim this motherfucker.
Oh, shit. What am I doing?
I mean, it's from he put up 4 videos 2 years ago. They all have your watermark and shit on it.
I gotta figure out which one it is. Is it the 15-minute long one? No. YouTube makes me do all the fucking work figuring out which the fuck one they stole.
Oh shit, that wasn't this whole list. He's got all your shit, dude.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Use it.
Why collect mini revolvers? Interview with Jaeger. All sorts of shit. It's all from 2 years ago too, though. So it's like they went through and just grabbed all your shit, and then nothing else has been uploaded.
Yeah, been stealing my views and my scratch since then because they got more views than I do. Now I have to fucking tell them which fucking timestamps on my video it is.
Can't you just say like entire video?
No, because they took 5 minutes and 12 seconds out of a 12-minute video. So now I get to figure out what the fuck 12 minutes or 5 minutes they took out of it.
Oh, they took your fucking Starburst candy shit. Oh my god, dude. This is horrible. Yeah, they seriously copied like your whole fucking thing. This is nuts. Well, I guess that's why you put up your fucking watermarks and use your patch and shit in the video.
Doesn't do any good though.
Right, maybe you can take all his fucking.
I made $15 on that video basically when I didn't make $15 on that video. So it's not like anybody can really bitch. You probably did it times however many videos. So it's a couple $100 maybe.
But yeah, but I mean that's bullshit.
And now I'm making all my legal shit out here so that they know that it's me commenting from my own fucking account, not a video that somebody fucking stole off. And autocomplete in most of it. I have to fucking type it. It's ridiculous. It's like they are almost making it a pain in the ass. I guess they have to make it a pain in the ass to defraud somebody, but they should make it a pain in the ass to fucking rip somebody off too if they're gonna do that.
Right.
But what are you gonna fucking do? Not put videos up?
Yeah, fuck this guy.
And then the other thing is they'll put that shit up and fuck your channel over because they'll, they just dink with it completely. Well, it looks like most of their videos didn't get, most of the videos they stole off of me didn't get 15,000 views at least.
No, that one was a anomaly. All those other ones have a couple views, 1 view, 10 views.
But,
yeah, that.
They'll fuck with it by putting up the same video as mine. It just fucks with it. It makes it dual. It makes my video worth half as much when somebody searches for whatever the fuck the title of my video is. When there's 3 of them, then it goes, oh, each of these are only worth a third of the results. So
well, and that's the thing when people are like, let's say they were like Flippy said, he stumbled across it, so obviously he was looking at videos about that thing. And it was probably like, oh, here's a related one. And they just like pick one that has that name. And then people click on it.
Sega 12 and it says recommended for you and it's the top one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it should have been G-Webs would have been the top one. Like his original one should have been the one that popped up there.
No, it had more views than me, so it's going to take the one with more views, I suppose.
Right. My point is if it didn't exist, then your video would have been the one that popped up.
Yeah, and would have been viewed more and all that. Like I say, there's people that do that shit not just to make the $15 or whatever, but fuck with the original person's shit. What do they call that? Pussery or fucking not being able to fucking hold your own, so you fucking throw windows at other people, or throw rocks at other people's windows.
Does
You
the
did a
Sega 12 bolt lock back?
Only if you leave the original trigger shit in there. A real trigger doesn't have any bolt hold open, of course, so if you put the stupid seesaw looking pivot thingy, that part has a bolt hold open in it.
Is there a way to like report the whole channel and be like, yeah, these are just all mine, and then be done? Like do a mass thing?
I don't even know. It would seriously, it would be a full-time job to go look for all those. I probably should, but
Just go, yeah, just go to his site, just go to Gunshoot 6 and then just hit like uploads, and it's all he has is your videos. They're all from 2 years ago, so he probably spent a fucking weekend stealing all your shit, and then it's just been sitting there for 2 years. Yeah, he took 175 of your videos.
well, you should probably say she, because people without penises don't like to be called he. Still have respect for the human underneath all cosmetic surgery. We'll see. Anyway, after watching that, did it make you not want those stupid guns any less?
Nah, I didn't really even watch it. I just kind of like moved on. I'm now watching this Coleon Noir video with the Sega 12 in it.
Here's a difference. Nobody paid me to tell you to buy those things.
Oh yeah, you can just. Oh, I wonder if that would help you any. You can just flag his channel. There's an option for impersonation. He's technically impersonating you.
I did.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I won't see because I'll never go back and look, but maybe it'll happen. Or also send me an email saying they need my like DNA or something as further evidence that I'm me.
Yeah, it's
Oh fuck, Matt does this chat at 8 o'clock now?
Wednesdays are later than Mondays.
You watch that Westworld show ever?
No,
That's great.
Yeah, he won't shut up about it, so I watched it.
Was
I
it
would
good?
If you like science fiction, I would watch it.
Did you have it on one of the Netflixes or something, or?
No, I, on my cable TV and watched it on HBO.
I enjoy it. I think it's a pretty good show.
I didn't know you had the HBO. That's why I was wondering if it was available someplace else.
I
Yeah.
think it's available on HBO.
I don't know what I'm gonna do when Game of Thrones comes back on. That's the one thing I think I need to watch that. Luckily, I have some time because they're taking like a huge ass break. But
It's
I
okay.
don't-
Westworld is basically going to take over Game of Thrones. This Game of Thrones is about to be done with. They're on their last season and they're splitting their season in half.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that this was going to be the last season. I bet
Yep.
you winter never even comes. Like it's gonna be because that's like they've been
You
talking
didn't
about it
watch
since
the last
season one.
season. You didn't watch the last season, I'm assuming.
I watch. I'm up to date.
Okay. Because at one point they specifically say winter's here.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like, okay, those things are attacking near the wall and shit, but it's still not like, you know,
No, straight up, the Ravens are white now. Winter's here. That's what it means now. When the Ravens all turn white, it's like winter's officially happened.
okay, that's great, but there's still the majority of the episodes are still just about like, people backstabbing each other and stuff. I want to see some massive fucking White Walker like carnage.
No, the White Walkers have nothing to do with winter. Winter's coming is just the slogan that you always need to be prepared and ready. That's why it's the House Stark motto. To always be ready for the inevitable winter.
Okay, whatever. You're not getting what I'm saying. That's okay.
No, I'm just correcting you because you're wrong. I understand you're saying you want to see a big epic battle between the undead and the living.
Right.
And I'm
just
saying,
I just saying. I guess what I thought was implied with like winter is coming is when like that's when all the like bad guy winter people attack and stuff, and it's like cold and everything, and it hasn't really quite. It's like that's what I'm saying. It's like just kind of starting, and I hear you with the like, oh, it's finally here, but the implications of it being here have not really set in yet. Because they're still off like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I
Right.
want to be
And
king.
I understood that, and that's why I was correcting your statement about winter. Because it was incorrect. Oh, a red jacket, Sega 12.
Well, that must be good then.
Yeah, I wonder if it rapes its daughter too. Like if you put it next to an AK, will it rape the AK?
You're gonna get one. Go take it to that guy, right outside of Tulsa, and he'll turn it into what it could be, like what you think a police would carry.
Hey, it's Hosh. Why isn't Hosh hanging around here anymore?
I don't know. Sick of the bullshit.
I heard it's because he doesn't like Flippy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's clearly a lie. Everyone loves me. Why does he have a bunch of chainsaws?
I think that was his gig before he was into guns so much.
Or maybe he mounts chainsaws as bayonets. Because you can't just use a regular bayonet on a frickin', shotgun AK. You gotta use something cool.
I feel like a shotgun AK needs a better name than just a shotgun AK. Because it's clearly better than an AK and a shotgun. Because
Well, I wouldn't say that. I just think they're
it's
kind of
the
neat.
best of both worlds. It's like a fact that the Sega 12 is like the king of the AKs and the shotguns.
Switching.
Rawr. All right. Oh, I gotta go run to the store. I'll see you guys later.
You gonna shut this one down? I think he already has another lobby up.
Sending
out links already.
Yeah, I could do that since Matt's about to start up. That'll be fine.
All right, thanks for listening.
All right. Yep. Thanks everyone for joining, even if G-Webs is a wet blanket on shotgun AKs.
When you all have one, and you're all like, "Oh, this is the lamest gun I ever bought," then you can all be like, "Oh, wish I would have listened to him."
Yeah.
Nah,
G
it would be
was
the greatest gun.
AK tour was right.
I mean, I have a
Dude.
tendency to believe you because I know you tend to know what you're talking about, especially if you owned the thing. It's like finding out that, your favorite superhero like is lame or something. It's just
I only had 3 of them, so.
Yeah, I don't believe. I think you're just spiteful over it for some reason. I don't think it could possibly be any issue with the gun.
No, I got them cheap, and that's the only reason I even owned them. And I was gonna convert them, and then they were so pathetic, I never even had any interest in converting them, so I sold them unconverted. They're seriously horrible. Go look at the mags. That's all. I mean, the gun doesn't matter. The gun's fine. Look at the mags, though. That's the
So
part.
what if someone made cool mags? Like, would that be better? Or they just can't be because they're so big?
What if? What are they going to make them out of? Graphene? They're huge. They're a monster. So there's nothing you can do to put a whole bunch of shotgun shells underneath a shotgun that ain't going to be huge. Unless somebody comes up with one that shoots those little 1-inch gilas.
What if it?
Kind of a bin.
What if they use tube technology to make a magazine?
Yeah, they used some sort of a large tube that just had them in there like a hopper, and then there was a little gremlin or monkey or some kind of a little critter that hung out underneath there, and every time you shot, it would load up a new one. That's the way to do it. They have a little pouch under there that the little critter lives in.
Some kind of space tube technology.
All right, well.
All right, see you guys.
Toodles.